Politicians want to make their decision just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat keep on grudging like my brother to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you got today? Spoon TV. Yes, what you got today? Spoon TV. Spoon TV. Spoon TV. Spoon Entertainment. Go to there. Go to there. On the spoon. Yes, information.
Yes, sir. A special one from the CEO's banter with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the South Band. Charges on the beat.
On the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you and know. The children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat keep on grudging like my brother to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you got today? Spoon TV. Yes, what you got today? Spoon TV. Spoon
Okay, folks, it's a wonderful way to welcome you to another edition of the program Spoon Talk here tonight. We're live on Spoon 107.5 FM. The program is live on Fabric 101.1 FM. And also we are on Super 95.5 FM. Online, we're on Spoon TV Live, Fabric TV Live, Super TV Live as well. And we want to say welcome to all of you across the world who have joined us tonight on another edition of the program Spoon Talk. So my name is Nelson Colette. Of course, encourage someone to listen with you. Get glued to your radio. Switch on your televisions. And let's have a great show here tonight on this God bless Saturday evening. So let me say good evening to you, James Gude Flomo. How are you? Why are you're not looking happy like the real James? Because I see Lofa County. No, in fact, Lofa is in the lead now. So
Yeah, they
I
can't.
don't
I
see
think they
so.
can. I think they can finish. Lova is
Uh,
okay. We managing. How do you
James,
do? Yes,
James,
sir.
yeah, I'm trying.
Go call Messi to play for Lofa.
Messi not need to play. Lofa almost to win.
Almost.
Yeah, Lofa leading 3-2.
So they almost to win, right?
Yeah, the game almost finished.
Go call Messi. James, what happened? They said the fee was dark today.
I did not see that part though.
They said darkness are all over on the fee. That they say, oh,
The part I
sometimes when
watching and see light on the pitch.
Uh,
James, I about to put you in a situation you can't handle, James. I want you to.
Maybe they have. But what I'm
I
watching, I'm seeing light.
James. That need a fee based, yeah. Because some people can say no lies, some people say lies, so that's okay. The people Zoga wasting managing. Let's talk about a beautiful game, all right? And Lofa won, right?
Lofa,
yeah, Lofa
the
is
game
still in the
should be
lead.
out.
How many minutes left?
Roughly few about 2-3
So Jane,
minutes.
you're working and you're watching the game. You see you're in trouble.
I
You're
just
working.
aspiring.
So how many minutes left?
The extra time is over. The extra time
How
over.
many
I think
minutes left, James? I ask you nothing else. How many minutes left?
roughly about 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay.
About.
So folks, they gave James the time to watch that last 1 minute. Okay. All right, Josh. Josh Flumo. They gave James the time to watch that because we need his undivided attention. So it will be fine that we gave James the 1 minute. So let everybody start counting now. 60, 59, 58, 57, 56, 55, 54, 52. So I just want 53, right? So so the higher the James. Let your 1 minute finish that, then we'll get. But Nelson, what's going on in the country? We're in the session of the county meet. I know the county meet is it's over for today, but they will have a beautiful, beautiful county meet. And who you think gonna win? Which county taking it home to this time around?
Well, I think is a kind of tough one, uh,
No,
especially
man,
for me,
top. The county you from, just say the county will win.
especially for me to make the prediction that I, I've
Where are
I
you?
think
Which county you from? Which county?
I'm from Bonk. I'm from
You from
Bonk.
Bon County? Are they in the
Yeah.
league?
No.
The game is over.
Uh,
James just gave
no.
us a sign that the game is over. So Bon County not playing, right?
Uh, no. No. But honestly,
No, my
CEO,
man. Why you can't
I've
answer
really not been
question?
following. I
No,
really
no,
not been.
no, 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 Nelson. Don't run past it. Bon County in the county meet. Are they playing?
I know that Bonk
Yes,
County.
yes or no?
I can't really tell because
Okay, you don't know.
I've not been following closely. The
Bon County in the meet. Good day, you're muted, my man. The game over now. Let's go.
Trying to
You are,
confirm. No, I can't. I can't confirm.
you can
Yeah.
confirm.
Yes. Bon. No. They're there. The keyboard team is there. I
I'm
see
not
the
talking about
keyboard.
keyboard, man. I'm talking about soccer, football. You say keyboard. You know, you see Dr. Richardson on the set to talk about keyboard. So So, but the content made. So yeah, Winston, yeah, I say yeah, bon content in it. There will be bon content. Nima already no Lofa, right? Lofa won. So there will be bon content. And Lofa play. Which team Lofa play?
Grand Bassa.
Grand Basel.
But you only promised the people 1,000, 100,000 each or 1,000. How much did she promise them? She said if they win, but at least let she be generous. They try their best.
But they win.
No, but man, but the people try. Let she still get in the map, bro.
They will break the contract. See
She
you.
did not say if. She said win.
My man, they try, but
She did not tell us say when you draw.
What kind of picking here, so? She the people senator, man. Let she just try to get in the map. Find that place. Let's see what Yombly say. Yombly say this is exactly what she said. Oh, she said Barca 2 goal, Lofa 1 goal, 200,000 for the ball so far. Oh, the woman increase it. Oh, but yesterday she said my Barca balls 100,000 for each goal tomorrow. Oh, each goal. She said the entire team though. And y'all know, no say pay, Lofa must leave their own with God. So the woman she's a politician. She said for each goal, 100,000. So how many goals did they score today?
The people score 2.
They scored 2.
And they scored 2 in 1 minute. See you.
But how they sit down there then Lofa came back?
Because Lofa is great.
So here's the thing though. Yombly owed the team 200,000. Correct?
Yeah.
James, can you put it up, please? Let be very clear because the people need a 200,000. Did she say 200,000 US?
Nah, Liberty, it can never be US.
What you making never? Are you in Yombly Park? What you make they can never be? You in Yombly Park?
It can be.
All right, but let's put it down. I want the people to see because the Senator Yombly owed the people the 200G.
Okay, now the fresh news.
My man, what are you talking about? Did you put it up?
I put it there. But why she say fresh news there? She put it.
My man, just put the thing up now. What kind of picking this up?
The woman can be the bar well.
My man, put the thing up. Leave the Uma alone. You're picking, you get trouble.
Oh, you know I did not see that thing that you made me to see it.
My man, just put the thing up. What kind of picking this up? You see how Jane get trouble more than Uno.
Well, I come in. I get in it.
Yeah, but what fresh news you see? The one is another year about fresh news. So that different page you're looking at about Young Leo.
No, it's there.
Go to the one that say Young Lee Kanga Lawrence. The one that she let her smile on.
Ain't that the one she said? I come in. I want to get it. I had to see that her page beside it.
My man, just put that one. Oh, I sent you the thing just now. Put it up.
All right, let me check if it's.
You that trouble too much. Need one more other thing she got on her page. We're talking about football, yeah.
Oh, I don't see the other one. Maybe she blocked me from the page.
Why would Yombly block you?
But I can see it.
My man, stop saying that thing. Why would Yombly block you? Yombly must block you. Why? Why have you done?
I don't know. I can see.
But Yombly will never block you. Yombly can block people.
Maybe I probably roll my phone. But I
put a picture up. The one I say you put it up.
I hardly see that picture. I put it up.
Oh, Yombly get say you need to be on the other page, yo. Can you put up one up? Yombly post something or she get it in the picnic and me wearing around that, but say you need to. But my Barca boys, 100,000 for each goal. So they score 2 goals. Yombly gonna give them 200,000, right?
But no, she said Lofa must leave. They are all with God. So maybe she will say that they now win a while.
No. You probably don't know where you can get your own reasoning from. They will make it clear. Look at the exclamatory mark. That whole sentence was done. The second one is an addition. That's why she say and. She said, and y'all know. The first one she said, my Barca boys, 100,000 for each goal tomorrow. 2 goals, 200,000. Nelson, is this a mistake? Are we reading something wrong?
No, I don't think so, CEO. I don't think so. I think from what I see here, the senator will have to give the boys the 200,000 because she says 100,000 for each goal.
Yeah,
Those are
James want to protect it with my 200,000. It will not even come to you, trust me. That 200,000 going to be poor bastard. But here's my problem with the post though. I didn't only put this thing up because of the bet and the 100,000. James, tell me why did I flag this? Why? Look at the second sentence. Make that other sentence. Just tell me why. What are you reading from the second line?
And y'all know no sepi, Lofa, Mali, they are with God. Ha. I hope I'm thinking.
Aha! 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 Hey, lovely.
Yeah.
Hey, God. Listen, folks. I want you guys to pay attention to the coded message. The woman thing says she was getting people 100,000. Then she added politics to it.
Yeah, she said, "Hey, yo, no, yeah."
Listen, guys. Listen, please. I'm begging you. The woman added politics to this thing. I know we're gonna have Ernest here from Front Page Newspaper talk a little bit about Western Cluster because what we saw this morning concerning Western Cluster is bad, it's damaging. We'll go back to the census issue. This is just we're going to invite you to come and make your case. Our brother Vernon, who have written a book, President Weah, he will be our guest tonight on top of the hours, 4 o'clock. That will be 9 p.m. Our brother will be in studio. We're going to have everybody coming around for us to make a good conversation tonight. James Goodday, Nelson Kola. The woman say, I can't wait for Kev to interpret this one. And y'all know, no sepe. Yeah? Now listen, Lofa. The people from Lofa will lead their own with God. Now they sing, hey, get a clip for Madame Yombly when she said the girl, the VP. Play that clip. Play it real quick. We interpret this message. The message is not
of the stand of a standard bearer. So as I always say, we are ready to serve our country. If I'm selected as a running mate, I will accept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, no. Jay, I don't like how you call the clip, man. We didn't listen to the question. James. Go back and call it. We want to hear the question.
All right.
Yeah, please. Just don't give us the answer, James. Call the thing from the question. But play that one more time. Let me put it small. Just
prerogative of the stand of a standard bearer. So as I always say, we are ready to serve our country. If I'm selected as a running mate, I will accept.
Yeah. Yeah. Senator, my name is Aaron Kuban.
So James, you see, sometimes I don't know whether you don't let your picking error, and these are the things that you always do to Aaron. You cut him off.
Oh no, Aaron is different from Israel.
Yeah, but Aaron your own picking. At least you'll gain chance. But
that Aaron goes smooth.
Yeah, but that's all right. You call him man off. But listen, guys.
Aaron question I got to do it.
I beg you, please cut the clip from the question. We want to hear the question. Who asked her the question? What was she asked? That's the issue, folks. If you look at what she posted, no sepe, no falia will go. If we are going back to her answer, whether she will accept the VP if she's asked, and her answer, Oh boy, Young Kanga Lawrence. We'll leave it like that. But we're gonna have a wonderful show today, folks. We're gonna have a wonderful show today. What as if I called me? As if I won't come on the show. So bring it as if I on to the James. James,
Nothing
Yeah.
James.
I will bring it as if I on. He said,
Simple.
mm. Yo, today is Saturday. What all the guys? Come on, guys. Let's have a wonderful show. We got things to do. But we want to say to every one of you today, this morning in Liberia, the folks were in Bombing County. Uh, in Bombing, they had a town hall. So some Bombing people, they are well, decent, well respected folks. The town halls that was had today in Bombing. If that town was immigrant town, we're going to be fire. But Bombing people remain calm, remain sober. They were just calm. Guess what happened? And they expressed themselves. But a lot of takeaway, especially when we listen to the HR, Mr. Brown. A lot of takeaway when we listen to Mr. Brown. And it's scary, you know. James, go ahead. James, go ahead. I gotta take this call. Talk to.
All right, if you just joining, we want to welcome all of you. Tonight is going to be another night. Lofa Kante is already ahead. We are awaiting Maserati or another country that's going to pair with us. So, Nelson,
I know
what's your
you're already happy. I know you're already happy for
yeah,
Lofa.
I'm okay now. The referee started cheating us. The man wanted to say our game, but at the end of the day, we won because we are the best. So Nelson, besides Lofa, let's talk about any other thing. Today, our men went to bombing, and
Yeah,
things that I saw from bombing since the team will be talking about it, I think it's not
yeah,
welcoming. I think it's not good for Senator Snow. Senator Snow, what be Senator Snow has a serious battle to fight to overcome that in order to, bring those people together and make them to work under one umbrella. It's gonna be hard though. But again, we will be listening to some of them. But what are you hearing besides Spoon Talk discussing it? Is it really a topic in Liberia on the radio? People talking about it? This bombing issue?
yeah. Talking about the discussion with Western Cluster, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sure. A lot of people have been concerned about that. People have been talking about it, especially after the network lifted that particular issue. Um, we headed towards election now. 2023 is here.
Mhm.
October is just a couple of months to go. So a lot of people are concerned about that. Very few media institutions are talking about it. But once it borders on the the national, let's say the resources of the country or some of these concession stuff, people will get concerned because
Yeah, yeah.
extension, almost every county in the country, except for very few, almost every county in the country have had that their own share of the ill treatment or some of those quote unquote bookers, agreements that are entered into in some cases. So people are concerned about that as well. Yeah,
Wow.
lots of
Kafigo,
concern.
Kafigo,
Yes, sir.
I know you sad because you saw what happened in bombing today. How you doing?
I mean, why you asking Kev that question for?
No, you asked me the question.
No,
No,
I
no,
want to
no,
say
no,
I'm
no, no, no. We ready. We ready. Yeah. Why, my man? Don't
I know
start
the
no
brother
problem.
happy. Our
Yeah.
man, our Kev what be Kev when he comes on, he can be happy. But
No,
tonight,
that's a good question. What I saw in bombing today,
No, I did not ask you a question. I only made statement.
Yeah, but I will answer it now. But what I'm saying about you know what that tells me? That we are in a country that our people can express their feelings. That's a
careful of joke, man.
But that's a great thing. Let me tell you. You know, I'm old enough to know that living in Liberia. That
Kev, how old are you? Kev, how old are you?
You see, let me talk to you. Yeah. You know, CEO always do.
Kev, how old are you?
When I'm going to a point, right? When I'm going to a point that I want to explain, he will just throw me there.
James, you didn't upload all this stuff, James. We're waiting for the bombing thing. Mr. Brown on the statement, you didn't upload it, my man.
You see, he not changed my flow.
I'm happy with you.
You see that? He not changed my flow. You see? He not changed my flow.
I feel with you. I didn't think make him back. They people were watching the game today. He didn't do anything. There's nothing in the back, Piggy. Yeah, my Piggy James.
James.
They coming up gradually.
Gradually where? That's scary. That loafer you still talking about again?
No.
I just heard you say loafer carry. So Emmanuel asked me for Emmanuel called me. I said, Emmanuel, what happened? Then he texted me. He said, CEO, everybody get a picture. I get my picture. I said, go ask Governor of Liberia.
Go ask Governor of Liberia.
Emmanuel, what caught you? The cruise control. Okay, what's going on in bombing, my man? They put a hire 350 Liberia on standby. How you hire people on standby? Where is Ronald here? Somebody reach out to Ronald. Is he coming on tonight? How you hire people on standby? That's scary, Kev. Kev, 350 Liberians on standby?
Who said they're on standby? Who said so?
They're on standby, Kev. We're about to play the video for you.
Yeah, well, who says so? The HR?
No, we're about to play the video for you.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I can't wait for Sandro Johnson. Sandro Johnson coming on Monday. I just can't wait for Sandro Johnson.
Because what I know that 108 bombing people on payroll.
From where? From where?
Bombing citizen.
On payroll, which company?
Oh, the Western Cluster.
Okay, we can lie like the devil for hell.
So I sent it to you. The HR Mr. Brown confirmed today. 108 people. What I say yesterday? They're on payroll.
Mr. Brown confirmed what?
Today on the conference.
Oh, he confirmed it today.
Yes,
108 people. They put a bomb away for you. They put a bomb away for you and beat the hell out of you, Cap.
Listen, if the HR confirm it, the HR confirm it.
You said the HR confirmed that 108 people, 108 Liberians in bombing, from bombing, were hired by Western Cluster.
Yes. More than
so hold on now. All right, let's take it step by step. James wasting my time. I'm trying to put this thing on James. Hurry up, please. No, we can't. We're waiting for you to put Mr. Brown video up, please. I know what you're doing with 3 cell phone, 3 computer. You enjoy your life is good. Folks, let's go back to what Kev just said. If you're from bombing, we're about to open the phone line, okay? Just talk to us. We are waiting for St. Thomas and George. Dr. Peabody, I think he's attending a funeral. Kev, Dr. Peabody is attending a funeral. Jimmy Benson will be coming on. Dr. Richardson will. Eugene Lamin Fagon. I heard that, how you call him, will be joining us, Kev. What's his name? What's the ANC guy name, the former chief of staff? What you laugh for? I said,
So wait now, they ain't get enough opposition coming on this show. They keep coming.
Somebody said, CEO, I'm glad you know Kev can lie. But who can lie? I'm gonna say I can lie. I beg you. Yeah. Right now, anything Kev say, you gotta verify that election year. I beg you. Kev will tell you that Jesus Christ coming to industrial manner where. Yeah, it's up to you to believe it. Kefigo, we want to play this clip, my brother. We want to play this. Okay, somebody is in the back. Somebody coming in the back, he get a dog with him. Man, I'm coming on the show with his dog, man. Kev.
Mm-hmm.
They may come on the show with a dog.
I'm a pet lover.
Yeah, then you kill your pet. You pet lover, then you left your own pet outside to die. Then you pet lover.
That was a mistake.
Oh, so it's true.
That was a mistake.
So wait, Kev. Kev, don't explain that story. I'm begging you, my brother. Don't do that. That's what you heard what the guy said? Kev, what happened with the dog you had? What happened?
Yeah, see, that was a mistake. Our late night dog was making noises.
No. Let me be honest, guys. Everybody, please hold on 1 minute. Kev is about to talk about his dog. He had this dog. What's the name of the dog, Kev?
Tyler.
Kev named his dog Tyler. All right? Like Alex Tyler from Bombing. All right? Tyler. He named his dog. I gotta bring the guys there on for the one. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna keep running in the back for a little bit. Let's listen to Kev. Nobody say nothing. So listen, Kev. You had a dog. I got 2 dogs. So Tumani George got 1. Right? How many you had, Kev?
I had one.
You had 1 dog. Then what happened? Your dog name was Tyler. Folks, please listen. What happened with the dog?
Yeah, dog name was Tyler. So I was kind of. It was in the afternoon. I was resting, but he was making noise. So I tied the dog outside, and then it was hot. And then, the heat stroke. He had a heat stroke. He had a heat stroke.
Tumani George.
Kev should be charged for animal cruelty.
Oh my God! I never heard it said before. I never heard it said before. Listen.
No, Kev, that's a crime.
With the dog.
The man went through it already.
I went walking from here. Snap. My dog.
I told you yesterday we were talking. I told you. The man was cooking and water green. What kind of green you're cooking?
No.
Tell me.
The man said you're cooking water green.
Hey, you know like water green, right? Ain't know it.
The 7 love water green.
You like water green. You like cooking water green. And the man piece you cook. So you say when you say no. The man was cooking. The man cook.
Before you come to the water green, let's go back to the dog business more. I beg you guys. Kev, you had a dog. I got 2, Sean and Aubrey. Right? You guys have seen them before. The crazy little dogs. Tumani got 1. Tumani, what's the name of the dog? Rocket?
Rocky.
Okay. Kev, your dog name Tyler, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had a dog by the name Tyler. What happened to Tyler? Where is Tyler?
The dog is dead. The dog is dead. But it was a mistake.
How did the dog die? How did the dog die, Kev?
Huh?
How did the dog die? What happened?
Yeah, because I tied the dog out. He died of heat stroke.
Oh, you left the dog outside under the heat. Mute yourself. You're kicking back, my man. You left the dog outside under the heat, right?
No, I tied the dog outside my body.
In America, yeah, that's in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you left the dog
there. Authorities and
no. But we want to understand. Now, when I authority, we want to understand. You tied the dog on the patio, or you tied the dog on the street, or just give us some in the back.
Yeah.
How long it took you before you checked on the dog?
I slept. When I wake up, he was there.
Oh, you fell asleep.
Yeah.
And when you woke up?
Yeah, he was there.
Then the dog died. Somebody help me. Somebody help me, please. Fago, help me.
somebody engaged in animal cruelty. You laughing? You think of a joke?
No. I'm
Yeah,
not.
but hey, listen.
Kev should be charged. Kev should be charged.
So what
But
did the
listen,
authorities
before
say?
we
When
went through-
they, let's see, when the animal control came, what did they say?
Oh, well, actually, we took the dog to the animal control.
Mm-hmm.
They asked the question. We went through everything. They checked. They say it was an honest mistake, and that was it. We went through. Yeah, we went through. We didn't hide it. We told them the truth, and they said it was a, honest mistake. That's it.
So you buried the dog.
No, they took the dog from us.
They took the dog. And since then, have you owned any other dogs?
In America, no.
Yeah.
So before we bring our guest for today, hey, my man, can you mute yourself, please? Your kids coming in. Okay, so real quick. Fago, you gotta say something. I want to bring Ronnie say because Ronnie laughing in the back. I know you're gonna say something on this one. Fago, please help us here. Kev, just his first execution, a little puppy named Tyler, put him on the leash and hang him.
And the funny thing about it, after he hung Tyler on the leash, then he comes by and said Tyler didn't do well in mommy.
Oh, our sister Dr. Richardson is on the show. How you doing, Dr. Richardson?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good. A few days you went MIA. We hope everything is
okay. Our beautiful sister, she getting dark or
no. Why anytime Ben come on this spot, anytime Ben come on this spot, he can kick everybody from this spot. This particular spot, he can kick anybody on that spot. He can kick. Watch, I'm gonna take him out. Right, 20 is dead now. Right, so now bring him back. He kicked 20 out. Something is happening. We gotta watch his every moment. But guys, we are about to do this, right? Ragnar is in the back. We're gonna have a beautiful show. Kev said he left his dog outside on the leash and the dog died. Let me hear you guys.
Well,
I mean, Kev, how long? Yeah, but I'm gonna ask you. You wasted. How long have that been, Kev? 2 years, 3 years? How long?
He said I wasting time.
Kev, how long since?
It's over 15 years ago.
Oh, 15 years. Okay, that drive me there. Fagon.
That's not true. That's not true.
It means that 15 years. Wait a minute, that's not true. Fagon.
Something wrong. You told me.
Well,
murder and style rehabilitation does not support murder.
The United States agency responsible for animal welfare and well-being concluded that it was an honest
mistake. Error, yes.
Yeah. However, I'm just thinking, because in America, those of us who have lived here too long know that they tell us every day that it's 90-degree heat, 115-degree outside. So Kev is in the house, but carry the dog outside and tie the dog in 120-degree weather heat. I'm wondering whether he really wanted to eat a dog. Because it's like roasting.
Hey, what's that mean? A barbecue time.
He just put a dog outside in that kind of heat.
Woo!
And you will see tonight that the city he went to the people of Bummy. Listen, he will hear all the people talking. He will still say, outside of the way I see the sun, it look like freezing. Let me put the people of Bummy outside there. Then he will go sleep tonight. Tomorrow he wake up.
Real quick.
Say, oh, that's a honest error.
That's an honest error. Let me bring in Dr. Richardson. Dr. Richardson, I know you get your grandson, maybe one year or two. You're thinking about getting him a pet. If Mr. Richardson allowed, he would tell his daughter, say, yes, let's get him a pet. Well, but hearing Kev's story today, I've never heard this story in my life. This is my first time. I was just kidding around. I didn't know it was this serious. Kev left the dog outside, and the dog roasted, barbecued to death.
Sounds like cruelty to animals.
Exactly. Why are we having this conversation?
Dr. Francine, speak like bro English.
So I gotta bring you running, man. I gotta bring running to enjoy the conversation.
Wait. Did you guys say he left the dog outside in the
But
heat?
man, you I hate when you do this thing. You want the man to explain again? All right, so let's say the story in motion, right? Kev, can you explain the story one more time? Everybody is on now, Kev.
Well, man, everybody hear the story, man.
But man, running here about Biggie one more time, Kev. Just one more time, real quick.
I mean, everybody hear the story. I mean, I leave the dog outside. That's it. I slept. And then he stroked the dog. I tied the dog. What big?
Okay.
The authority in Maryland say it was an honest mistake. So that's 50 years ago.
Imagine 15 years ago, he left the poor Tyler outside, and the dog got barbecue, and under the heat, and his grave was next to the door. And the dog got barbecue.
Let's go to the show, man.
Ronnie, welcome to the show, Ronnie. Sorry, listen. Someday when we wake up, we just don't know how this show will go on. But beautifully, we got a good beginning. This is who we are. We want to say thank you for joining us. Sorry, guys. I'm sure you just. What Papa said?
Papa said somebody need to talk also.
I don't blame her. This you go
Let's be serious, though. Cat left the dog outside. The dog got barbecue. Ronnie, do you have a dog? Sometimes you have dogs barking in your yard. You have dogs, right? You're muted, sir.
Yeah, I have 3 dogs.
3?
Yep. Cashmere.
You better don't invite Kev for a visit. You were turning around the tree where the dog ends in air.
Oh boy. But Ronnie, welcome to the show, man. That's a good one. Let's start the program. Let's start. Kev, messing with you. That thing happened 15 years ago. The story, I mean, it is what it is. I've been 2 little dogs when it's raining and when it's hot. We just don't leave them outside. I'll put them in the house, and this is how it is. But we all went through something similar to that because we got to be careful. But Ronnie, it's good to have you. We understand that today will be one of the best days as we talk about your book. What brought you this far concerning your book? Let me see. This is concerning this, folks. Let's welcome to the show Dr. Richardson, Kev Hassan, St. Thomas and George, Benjamin Senvi, Eugene Fagon. I want to say our conversation tonight is relating to the book that Rationale will be launching. The date, you have to make reservation in Washington, D.C., in London, wherever this may take you. We are here to talk about the front page Africa owner Rationale and his book on the president, George Manawia. Something that inspired Rationale to write. We will invite you. We'll open the line for your question. The intent on this long journey to compose a book, why President we are still in power, though. Understand, he's a sitting president. Election is around the corner. Why now? Will be my first question to my brother Rationale. 2023, why now? Is it a determination to make or break the process as we drag down the line to October 10th, the election day? But why now you're going to put this book, launch this thing officially? First, going to read it. What is hidden in the book? We're going to have a great discussion. While we do that also, I want to let James, can you play the music? Because the book has an audio to it as well. But I will let Ronnie introduce himself and tell us about the music we'll be playing shortly. Brother, welcome to the show, though. Thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here. It's been a long journey. I know people been asking, wondering why I decided to write this book now. I had no intention of writing this book. But 5 years ago, I had lunch in DC, in Washington, DC, with a friend of mine, Helen Cooper.
She works at the New York Times, and she had written a book about Madame Salif during Madame Salif era called Madame President. And she said, Rodney, why don't you, do a story about George Weah, President George Weah? And I said, it's very difficult because um, there are a lot of things going on in the country, and I don't feel like the time was right. But then, as a writer, as a journalist, sometimes you wonder about stuff, and you try to do things that will satisfy your urge. And I started putting some notes down. Um, First of all, before I started, I sent a text message to the president. I asked him, I said, I need a favor from you. He said, what? I said, I want to tell you a story. And he said he wasn't ready to tell the story. So I said, okay. So I took a few days off, a couple of weeks, and I started putting some names of people down that I thought I could talk to really give me some input about the president. So I made a list of maybe 150 people I could talk to. I interviewed them one by one. Um, and they told me some things about the experiences with the president when he was a footballer, when he was the president, when he ran for president before, the two times he ran for president before this time. So all those things I jotted down, I took notes, I took days, a month. If you notice, I haven't been really writing for the paper for almost 4 years now because I've been working on this project. And so as I began, I took about 2.5 years to write. And the process of editing with the editors in London and Canada and the US, we went through about several different edits. Right now, they're in the final stages of the editing and the fine tuning and the printing. So it was a long process. Why now? That's not my decision. It was the publisher's decision to do so. They figured that because Liberia was going through election year and it was timely, marketing wise, that's the best time to put it out. And so I figured, um, you know, a lot of things, when I was growing up, a lot of people heard about Wani Boto. But when you Google Wani Boto, you see nothing about him. We just hear the myth that he was in hospital at JFK and they were leading Barrow 2-0. He came from the hospital bed with a bandage on his head and he won the free in school and redeemed. That's the story we had growing up. And that always puzzled me, like, why don't we document our stars, our people? And it always bothered me. And I'm someone who I don't take no for answer. And when the president told me he wasn't ready to tell the story, I could have folded my hands and said, well, I'm not going to write this book because the president is not part of it. The reason it's unofficial is because he didn't give his blessing. But as a writer, you can tell a story about someone by interviewing people who know them. And I did that. I did that professionally. I tried to balance, make the book as objective as I could, because I don't want people to think that I'm just writing to bash George Weah, President George Weah. I wanted to make sure that people understand that this is the real story. This is the story that every Liberian who knows George will be proud of. There's some things that they will like. There's some things that they will not like. And if you watch or if you read the book of Malcolm X, he wasn't a glossy person. He wasn't someone who was, always who he was. Martin Luther King, the same thing. They had their flaws, they had their missteps. And to tell a story, you have to tell everything. You cannot make a flattery of someone. I wouldn't be doing myself a favor if I wrote a book that was all flattery about President Weah. I have to dig deep. I have to do investigation. do research. I traveled to Cameroon. I traveled to Europe. I traveled to US, Florida, and I did research. I talked to people. And if you read this book, I'm not bragging, but God gave me a gift. And I think every librarian will be proud of this book because I put my heart and soul into it. Because I wanted it to be something that will tell the story of a man who was gifted, talented, and who forced his way with his passion for the game of football. The same way he never said no to when people told he couldn't do it, he fought his way through. Same way I can't say no, I can't accept no, and I have to write. And I think people will be proud of the way that this book is written. He may not like some of the things that will be in it, and it's fair, I think, because I have to be real. I don't want people to say, "Oh, you read a book that just praising the president. He has some issues," but I think the video that we're going to be releasing this weekend and the song that I was fortunate to talk to Nasi Man, the reggae artist. He did a really nice song for this book. The video was produced by Usher, one of the best, in fact, the best producer in Liberia. And I think people will be proud of the work we put in the book. And this, I think it's a message to every young child growing up. There's stories from way, way back. I mean, I found people, we growing up, everybody said, "Oh, Opong. How do you get the name?" I wanted to know. And I dug. I found the person. And it's a whole chapter in the book on that person. So it's not just a book, it's a story. It reads like a movie. It reads like but it's also gripping. It's also well researched, thoroughly, put together. Honestly, when I did the first draft, the editors in London said, "Oh, yeah, it's a good story, but you're holding some things back." And I had to go back again and write again. And keep writing again. They kept pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. After 6 or 7 edits and rewrites, they said, "Okay, I think we are where we want to be." It was like going back to school, because writing about yourself is different, but writing for somebody else, you have to make sure you cross the T's and dot your I's to make sure that everything is thoroughly done. Lawyers were involved to make sure we didn't cross any lines. And it's not, I guarantee this is not a toy book. It's a real book. And it's about 470 pages long. There's sources, there's interviews with subjects, there's everything that a good book is supposed to be. I'm very proud of it. This is perhaps my best work since Knuckleskate. And I think librarians will be proud of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's good to always have you on the Spoon Talk. Before we go around the table, I said why now, and I think you answered it. We're gonna have a 4 hour 30 minutes of program. We have to give chance to folks that they are yearning to know more about your book. But let's play the music, James. Let's play the song that you sent us. That would be very important. James, let's play the audio, please. The song.
I will build hospitals, I will build roads, and there will be good and quality education. I will put lights on the poles, and there will be clean and safe drinking water for all my people.
Easy lies ahead. That wears the crown.
Yeah. Master LC on the beat. Keeping the struggle on the road. On the mountains, down the valley, yes, he has to go. Every dreams and vision he had was in his soul. That is why he had to let his talent blow. That is why he had to let his talent blow. From Gibraltar to the seats of the presidency, every day he got a price he has to pay. But don't you forget, the road is rocking like a float. Well, don't you forget, the road is rocking like a float. Somebody call me his name, the boy from Gibraltar, the ghetto superstar. The boy from Gibraltar, who ruled his nation at last. The boy from Gibraltar, the soccer superstar. The boy from Gibraltar. African best, Europe the best of the world, best player. From the field of Gibraltar to the streets of Monrovia, playing football in every hood, in every corners. Invincible 11, mighty Barry, he's a striker. From Monaco to PSG, he never gets tired. With facing Milan as well, he conquers the world. Serving on his country as a goodwill and Barcelona, fighting for the peace and in this world of the struggle. Every day he has a price to pay. Every move he make, the sacrifices made. But never forget, the road is rocking like a float. Well, never forget, the road is rocking like a float. Somebody call me his name, the boy from Gibraltar, the ghetto superstar. The boy from Gibraltar, who ruled his nation at last. The boy from Gibraltar, the soccer superstar. The boy from Gibraltar. Hey! Finally he made it to the hearts of his people, then was elected as the head of state. With so much of price, but lot of them are so fake. Who wanna make him government, them look so sick. With too much corruption, chain them put on them neck. Now Babylon wanna put them deep down in the pit. It's only Rastafari like one home and save the day. Every day we have a price we have to pay. And every move we make, the sacrifices made. But we never forget, the road is rocking like a float. Oh yes, we never forget, the road is rocking like a float. Somebody just call me his name, the boy from Gibraltar, the ghetto superstar. The boy from Gibraltar, who ruled his nation at last. The boy from Gibraltar, the soccer superstar. The boy from Gibraltar. More fire upon the please. That's the man we are bleed. Sing.
Be mindful of the emperor without clothes.
Las Vegas Studio.
Wow. Wow, guys. The boy
from Gibraltar.
Folks, so again, let's just talk about what we just, the music
from Gibraltar.
The music. Talk about the composition, the folks that came together. Why you accepted it as it is? It got something to do with the book, though. The message is in that song, though.
Yeah. So I contacted Nazi Man. I said, look, I need you to visualize this story. And when you watch the video, you understand what the song is saying. I mean, I didn't get some of the things, but some of the things we're saying is like, the song is like an intro to the book. So the book starts from the beginning. I don't want to give away stuff that's in the book, but it starts from the beginning when George Weah tried to enter the football game, tried to play for IE, but didn't have time for him. He went to Barrow, came back. So the song starts from that. The book starts from that chapter, from that era. So the song is in three phases: the beginning, the middle, and the end. We talk about corruption and things that happen in the country, the missteps you've been making. So it's in three components. It may sound that is maybe promotional or flattery, but actually, if you listen carefully to the beginning of what I'm saying, Easy Lies Ahead that was the crown, and the end, we talk about
the Emperor with no clothes.
Emperor with no clothes. So it's hitting some nerves that people will get to.
The middle is being surrounded by corruption. Then at the end, the Emperor without clothes.
The more you listen to the story, the song, you will understand what this book is going to be about. It's not what you think it is. It's very, very engaging. It's very, very intriguing. I can guarantee you, I put my heart and soul into it. Before this night ends, Stan, you get the video, and you can play the video for everybody to watch it, and you can see what it's all about.
Thank you very much, our dear brother. We are all gluing in, and I can see this message is coming in. As they have sent some questions to ask you, because it's election year. Trust me, we have other discussion tonight. We're gonna pause it because you pay for your time, and I should respect our agreement. I do not want to interrupt the promotion of your book with other stories. We'll do that later. Let's focus on the book, the music, the message, and we'll start with our sister, Dr. Richardson. Dr. Richardson.
Hi, Rodney. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Doc.
That's good. I just want to congratulate you, first of all, on your book. I think, like you said, there are lots of great people in our country, but we don't get to hear the stories. So your effort to add to the literature is really great. My first question for you is: are there any information about the president's personal relationship with women or his wife in the book, especially in light of Ava and Clark's book?
Well, like I said, the book is very objective. It's very professionally done. There's a chapter on the family that covers all of what you just said. It's not as I'm not going to the gutter to discuss people's personal lives, but it's done respectfully. But everything that you just said is covered in that chapter.
Thank you. My second question to you is: there's a subtitle of the book which says "The Story of Africa's Football President." I can take multiple meanings of that subtitle, what it means. Do you care to explain to us how did you derive at that title?
Well, there's a chapter in the book where the president talks about asking for forgiveness, about sacrificing his time away from the presidency to play football, to play sports. So football is an escape for the president. And what I gather from people who knew him during the interview process is that he loved the game. And although he's president, he still feels he must commit to that side of the game. And you cannot write a book about George Weah, the president, without talking about football. So, in a sense, when he travels to countries around the world, they see him as George Weah, the footballer. And some places they give him football as a gift because they see him as that. And so the footballer president is, in a sense, both a homage to George Weah, the footballer, at the same time showing that as president, because there's two sides to the story. There's the football side, and then there's the politics side, then there's the presidency side. And the presidency side is something that's still being debated. People are still, wondering what's going on in the country. And so there's two sides to every journey in the story. But the book addresses every issue that's on the table. Nothing's left out. And as you watch the video, you understand more and more, and I'm pretty sure you understand what I'm talking
about. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Dr. Richardson. Thanks a lot. Kev Hassan, your two questions.
Rodney, how are you? And welcome to the show. There's a guy named called Bob Woodward. He wrote a book about Trump. So many presidents. Well, one of the things that he did best, he spoke to them himself. Matter of fact, most of his book do have. Let's see, I think can mute. Someone can mute. There's some feedback coming. Yeah, most of
Yeah,
his
let everybody just mute. You're right. Thank you.
most of his books had actually a live audio, live tape that you can hear. Matter of fact, the last book that he wrote about Trump, you could hear Trump's voice. And my first question, I'm asking you, how credible would be your book that you're speaking to third party, you're speaking to people, but not the president himself? How can one take your story credible that you're writing a story about a man, but you're not speaking to him? The reason I brought Bob Woodward, he's a historian who wrote a lot of books on president, but he makes sure he talked to them. So how credible is your story that you wrote a book, but the absentee in the book is the president?
First of all, in the beginning, I mentioned that the first thing I did before starting this process was to send a message to the president on WhatsApp. I asked him, I said, I want to tell you a story. He said, he's not ready. And as a journalist, there are different ways to kill a cat. There's different ways to tell a story. So I figured the next best thing to do would be to interview people who knew him. And there are many books about great leaders around the world in history who books were written about that never, spoke to anybody. If you watch the movie La Bamba about this Latino singer who died in a plane crash, the book was written about him after he died. People interview people. There are different ways to tell a story. You don't have to talk to the subject before you tell the story. There are many great books about Malcolm X after he died. There are many great books about Martin Luther King after he died. And people interview people who next to those people. And so my passion for this book is driven by the fact that it was a story to tell. And the timeliness of the story is important because one of the chapters in the book talked about when the president, at the time he was footballer of the year, when his house got burned on 9th Street. I was able to talk to one of the only surviving witnesses who was there to say what happened when the house got burned. Unfortunately, that witness, Musa Kamara, died. So what if I had not got a chance to speak to Musa Kamara? That aspect of that thing that happened that day will be forgotten in history. Tomorrow, all of us are dead. They will just say, oh, they burned Georgia House down. How did it get burned? Who were the players that were there? Who were the key generals from Taylor forces who were there at that day? I spoke to some of the people that were there. I spoke to people in Taylor's government. I spoke to people. So it's not a book just saying, oh, Georgia was born 1940, he went to this. This is a very intellectual book. It's well researched. And it's not just picking on George Weah. It's a story that every Liberian will be proud of, except for the sycophants. But it's something that needed to be told. I spoke to politicians. I spoke to, I don't want to call names because people get in trouble in Liberia, but when the book comes out, you hear the names in the book. But there are people who had access to the president. What happened in the campaign trail, 2005? What happened in the campaign trail, 2011? All those stories are answered. Everyone who's on this show tonight always wonder, why did Liberia fail to go to the World Cup? I've always been intrigued by that. So there are chapters in the book explaining what happened behind the scenes the day before the match. I spoke to the players who were there. So it's not a book. I don't have to talk to George Weah to get those stories. There are people around him who I could talk to. I'm a writer. I write. I love writing. God gave me a gift, and I put that gift into what I do. Everybody can be in politics. Some people like reading, some people like writing, some people like politics. They want to be president, they want to be senator, they want to be. My passion is what I'm doing. Imagine every Liberian took their passion and did it for good. That's what I'm doing. Liberia needs this story to be out there. And I'm doing it not because I want to make George President we are mad or anything, but I just feel like as a writer, as a journalist, I needed to tell this story. And I had to be um, careful, I had to be thorough, and I had to make sure that I hit every angle of people who knew him to tell the story. Um, People say, "Oh, why did we leave a PSG? I mean, Monaco to go to PSG, PSG go to Italy." All those questions are answered. This book is well researched. It's not just something that's gonna that say, "Oh, President Weah was this, he was that, he did this, he did that." Those things are there under the presidency, but the things that led to those things are also there.
Okay, let me do my second because of time. Uh, the reason I'm the kind of guy so don't take secondhand information because there's a lot of information out there, especially in our community, that is wrong. For example, like today, somebody said to me, Rodney said and them do have hands in our and gun issue. Somebody called me today. I'm like, don't call me with that nonsense. That's a secondhand information. Let's say I write a book on it 10 years ago that Rodney said, I will be wrong because I'm not, because I take information from second-hand information, not speaking to you. So I do worry about those kind of second-hand information. A lot of people say a lot of things. So for me, and at this moment, uh, you stated that you talk to people around, but not talking to the president himself. Uh, but you kind of putting your foot down and say this is the actual fact without talking to the president himself. Uh, Let me ask you this: if anything in that book show contrary to the truth, one, are you not afraid of lawsuits contrary to the truth? One. And two, will the proceed of that book be given to the president of Claudia Foundation of that book? Because when I'm listening to you, writing the book on the president on this. Uh, uh, let me end up with this before you answer these two questions. There's a lot of story came out on the Grady Allison case. There's a lot of story came out of buried 200 children alive in Nimba. All was second-handed report, and people acted on it. So that's my question on your second-hand information. Those second-hand information in Liberia, we do have a history that is not factual, and you got second-hand information. Are you not worried of lawsuits just in case those information you're saying are wrong?
Thank you, Roland.
I'm not worried about any lawsuits because this book was thoroughly written, well researched. The people who are speaking are people who had access to President George Weah when he was a footballer and when he was the president. There were people who were there when Malcolm X was shot and killed. People were there and they told their stories in the book. Those information are witnesses. You cannot say because, and I think what you should be asking, Kev, is why did the president agree to do an interview for the book? That's the question you should be asking him. I did my best to reach out to him I did my best to talk to people around him to get him to talk. He refused. And as a writer, the next best thing is the people next to him. And that's what I did. And the book is not they say, it's not things that, like I told you, the incident at the house that got burned. Um, what if Musa Kamara was not, he was there. He was in charge of that area. He spoke to me. The people who play on the football team, when Lone Star failed to go to the World Cup, they spoke to me. Are those they say, are those gossip? I mean, come on. These are things that, this is a serious book. It's not something that's just been rushed to put to press. There's 5 years in the making. Lawyers went through it. Editors went through it. There were things that were taken out because they felt it was too much or couldn't be, may have problems addressing your legal thing. All those things were addressed. This is not a book that's just being written because I feel like writing a book. It's my passion to write, and I'm not afraid of anybody lawsuits. And I'm not going to be a dime to anybody foundation. It's my book, my rights. If I want to help kids in school, I help. Today I help people in school. Like give people scholarships, I help people in school. So I can do that, but I'm not going to give my book to proceeds to Claire We Are Foundation. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. It's not for her. It's for me. And so you talk about what Trump, as much as you want to say about Trump agreed to be interviewed for the book. Okay, he agreed to be interviewed. Presidents, even Nixon, who people said was a dictator, he agreed to be interviewed for books. Presidents do it. Madam Salif, her book came out. Helen Cooper interviewed her for that book. Spent about a month or 2 months in her farm talking to her. So when you're a president and someone asks you, you may be shy, you may be media shy or whatever, but it's your story. And even though I didn't talk to him, one of the few interviews I did with him before, in 2005 in a Washington, D.C. hotel, some of the things that people said about him for this book, I went back to those interviews and asked him and took information from there. He told me addressing those same issues. So this is as balanced a book as you would ever read about George Weah.
Thank you very much. Someone and George. No, you got to hold on 1 minute, Kev, please, because we have many. Yeah, thank you. Sentiment and George.
Rodney, it's good to see you, and let me also congratulate you on this book that's supposed to be launched soon. Like you said, unofficial autobiography of the president. So I think just to make some clarity, unofficial. So, but again, most of the people that was interviewing this book, I know that most of them are alive and so forth, and so like your intention was not to denigrate or do anything harmful to the president, just to give a story about his life and his rise from Gibraltar to the presidency of our country. My question is, will you be inviting anyone of the president or anyone from his cycle or to your book launch?
Right now, I know the last time people were asking questions about why am I starting the book launch outside Liberia. I didn't want to talk about it, but since you brought it up, but I've been having problems finding a venue in Liberia. Everyone's afraid to host the book in Liberia. When I do find one that's willing to host it, I will invite everyone to attend. But Africa, people are afraid to be associated with anybody who they think is against the president. So they're afraid to, I don't want to call the names of people that turned me down, but there are people who just didn't want to do it. And there are friends I have that I don't want to put them in the position where they have to tell me no, or they have to say no. We have to ask the government first before we do it. And you talk about democracy, you talk about free speech, but there are people who are just afraid to, allow the free space of discourse. And that's the problem we have in Liberia. And I think that there's a challenge for there's a lack of tolerance in our society that people feel like they're afraid to speak out and they don't want to be seen as associated with people who they think may be enemy of the state or against the president. I have nothing against President George Weah. I have when he was running for in 2005, his people came to me for interview, and we did the interview. There were things said in the interview that came out that they thought I trapped the president to say it, and from that time we've been, on different divides. And so I don't think that I owe anybody an explanation for what I'm doing. This is my work. This is my passion. And I always say that if every Liberian take that passion and put it to use, this country will be far better than what it is. But everybody want to be politicians. I'm not a politician. I'm just a writer, a journalist writing a book. That's what I do.
My second question. I've been since you did a prelude of your book launch. My understanding is that there have been several calls. You've been under pressure. I don't know. I want you to confirm or deny this. You've been under a lot of pressure from even people within the president's cycle and officials of the government concerning this book. First of all, can you just confirm it? And then secondly, why you think if it is true, why you think people are so anxious about this, and they are calling you or so? If you can confirm it or deny, thank you.
I'm glad you asked that question, Tomlin. I felt disrespected by someone very close to the president, and I nearly blocked them, but I said, just forget, I'm going to block the person. They actually called me, sent me a text message asking me if I gave them a copy of the book. And then when I said no, I said, the publishers have the book. Then he said, can you give the name of the publisher and the address of the publisher? I thought that was going too far. And my frustration, not frustration, but my anger stemmed from the fact that I offered every opportunity for this president to speak. I went to his people close to him, people who talk to him every day. I said, it'll be a good thing for him to talk, at least address some of the issues in the book. He never agreed. And I'm a journalist. I'm a writer. I don't just take things lightly. I don't just accept no for an answer. If President Weah had said no when in early chapters in the book where he was struggling to do things, let me just explain something. There's a part in the book during the research. I don't know what Kevin said, but this one, maybe you think that the man is lying on President Weah, but there was an old man called Omen Kamara. He was a legend in IE. And when he finally agreed to allow George Weah to play for IE, he said, look, there's a house in somewhere around Battery Factory area where we has a train. I went to the house. I talked to the old man. The old man brought Sitoli from Guinea to come and train George Weah. And every morning, Sitoli told George Weah, don't touch any football, just run around his house about 25 times a day. All the goals he was scoring, all the things he was doing, he couldn't run around the house 2-3 times. He started breathing heavily. The woman said, what are you doing? He said, I'm tired. The woman said, you see Roger Miller? You see Maradona? You can be like them. You have to train. You have to build your stamina. What if George Weah had said, I'm training, let Roger Miller go sit down somewhere? He wouldn't be who he was. So the book is not just something that people should say, I'm just hitting on somebody. It's a real story about human beings and what they went through. He may not have wanted it out. He may not want to talk to me about it, but I found out these things because I'm persistent. And in life, you have to be persistent. You have to be willing to do the things that people don't want you to do. And I don't just take no for an answer. I push. If George Weah said no, if he had been rude toward the coaches who were trying to help him when he was struggling, he wouldn't be where he half the player he was when he to do. And some of the things that it even advised him when he was playing football that he refused to do. When he went to Monaco, those same weaknesses were shown by Arsene Wenger. So the book is not. I don't have to talk to President. We have to do a book about him. Just get that to your head. It's a story. You know, it's a story. It flows like a story. Talk to people. You interview them, and they tell you what happened. It's not something that you have to be um, sad about and say, "Oh, he's going to attack the president." He's going to. That's the first thing. So when the president came and asked me to give the copy of the book, I said, "Wait for March 11. Wait for April 1st. I can give you a copy of the book." I felt disrespected. The fact that DC people were around the president when I asked them to get an interview for the president for the book, they said no. They said, "Oh, he didn't want to talk." I made over a dozen requests. A dozen. What book can you ask for me, Kev?
Let's bring in Fagon. Fagon?
Well, thank you, and it's good to see my friend and brother Rationale on here today. Congratulations on the writing of your book, the football president, whatever it is. I actually enjoyed the music though, because like you said, it came in three parts. It talks about a man who started off from scratch and worked his way up to the top, which is a good thing for any young person to follow. But once he got to the top, he surrounded himself with corrupt people, and corruption marred his government. And then at the end of the song, it clearly states that the emperor is naked, meaning that the emperor is being told, in my opinion, that he's naked, but he thinks he's wearing clothes. And that Rastafarians do sing. So if the emperor new clothes is just that, then of course some of us that come from the party from which he is the political leader, we have to work harder. I also want to use this opportunity to thank you for the invitation extended me. And Tomali, I don't want you to be jealous. I am one of the VIP invited to Washington, D.C. by Rationale. So I'm going to be there vis-a-vis. And I'm so excited. I'm so happy that Rodney could think about me, place a call to me. You see, that these are the kind of calls, CEO, when you get, you're too excited because out of the blue, you get the call and say, you're one of my guests of honor, you're coming to DC. That's an achievement for me. I don't care how you feel about it now, Rodney, but I feel so good. It's an achievement that I was invited. Thank you so much. Having said that, let me ask you this. Your book is coming up. For me and many persons around the country, it's going to be a bestseller, no doubt in my mind, because everyone knows you've been writing stories upon stories in the newspaper. And so think about how many years you've put stories in the newspaper about this person. In my opinion, those stories plus more will be condensed into a single 400, I think, 21 pages, a page book. So at the end of all of this, the sale and everything, what would you be looking to achieve?
Well, like I said, I'm not so much into money.
Right.
This morning I spoke to Nazim and I said, look, this song is going to be on Apple, iTunes, in every streaming. I said, every penny from that song goes to you. You, the musician, you made the song. That's my contribution to Liberian artist who's making it. Okay? There are people who I help in school. I don't talk about it. The people who I do things for, I don't talk about it. People know me. So it's a blessing that God gave me to do what I'm doing, and I'm proud of it. And I think every Liberian needs to do the same thing. They need to make sure that they follow their dreams, follow their goals. This story is not about George Weah. It's about someone who followed the dream and made himself somebody. But getting to the top, like you said, Eugene, how do you maintain that level? I always tell my reporters, don't be complacent in life. Always strive for the best. Not because you get a certain level, you become complacent. Keep striving. You have a chance to be a Nelson Mandela. You have a chance because of where you came from, Gibraltar, Nuclear Town, Looking Town. You have a chance. We all want you to succeed. But it doesn't mean that we hate you. Um, it's just the way the world is. A senior diplomat told me when I was doing the process for this book, he said, maybe you can get him. He said, did you talk to him? I said, I tried. I said, but toward the end of the book, there were people in the circle who was calling me to, arrange meeting with the president. And then the person told me, the diplomat told me, maybe you can do a one chapter where he addressed some of the things that people said. I said, but the interview that I did with him before that, where he talked about some of these things, like the incident that happened in DC in Maryland a few years ago, he addressed it. The president addressed it. So there's a balance. It's not just one-sided. Like I said, I try to make myself the book as subjective as I can, but while addressing all of the issues that everyone wants to be addressed in this book. Everything is there.
And my next question to you: you're facing a lot of problems. I've been in the government, I work in the government. I know how it works. We have City Hall, we have the complex, we have the ministerial complex. The auditorium at the ministerial complex is huge. We have all of these facilities. We have the basketball place, Red Sox Cardi place at the SKD Sport Complex there. We got all these facilities that you can launch your book, and you're having problems launching this book. Don't you think it would be prudent to do a written communication to some of these areas so that for the future we can have something to reference that actually you were denied? Because it's your right. You are a librarian. We're not saying if someone is there for this Saturday, you should kick them out because you wrote this year. No, you'll be willing to make concessions and have a date. But again, as patriots of our country, people who are straightforward in dealing, are you considering writing some of these areas for usage of public facilities that belongs to the country, to the government, and to the people, so that tomorrow we can have a reference when we deal with some of the individuals who, for some reason, discriminated against you and your profession? Would you consider doing letters to this effect?
Yeah, in fact, I'm in the process of doing that. Just to put on my record, I'm gonna ask them, and let them tell me no. But some of the places are private businesses. They're afraid. I don't want to call the hotel the place to put them in trouble, but some hotels in Liberia, the big hotels in Liberia, they wouldn't want to be bothered because they feel like the government come after them. So, and some of them are my friends, so I don't want to get in trouble, so I just left them alone. But it's just sad that people think that way, in this day and age. The lack of tolerance, the fear that they will be affected. One of them actually told me that one time Henry Costa went to the hotel for something, and just because Costa was in the hotel, the government heard it, they said, oh, they were supporting Costa, so they got in trouble, so they were afraid to host this program. So I said, okay. So I walked away, and a couple other people I've been talking to, they've been afraid to host it. So I'm still digging. People been asking why not Liberia, but this is why I'm not Liberia yet. I just got dates in New York City, Columbus, California coming up after the DC launch. So Liberia is on the cards. If they accept me, if they accept to do the book, we'll do it. If not, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles is all there.
Thank you.
you very much, Rodney. Let me bring in Chairman Ben. Chairman.
Thank you, and Rodney, it's good to see you, my brother. And congratulations on the release of this book. I agree with you 100%. I think, first of all, it's a shame that in this day and age that someone can launch a book because people are afraid that there will be reprisal from the government. I think we hopefully we get to a point in our country where we all can exist and coexist and have different opinions and still see ourselves as Liberians. One of my favorite, or if not my favorite, TV series is called House of Cards with Frank Underwood. And there's something he said in there. There's a quote that I really love, where he said, "The road to power is paved with hypocrisy and casualties." And I think I see this in a whole different way. Like you said, I think this is an unauthorized biography of the president, which is, you're right, people do. Once you are in the public light, once you get to the level to which George Weah has reached, people do these things. People write books about you. I mean, you go into Barnes and Nobles, you see tons and tons of books on Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama. I mean, they do state, like you say, unauthorized, which is the right thing to do, because that way you are not misinforming the public that this person have agreed. But having said that, it doesn't mean that these books are lies. Like you say, people know these people. So my question to you is, when you did, and I know you mentioned that it is balanced. I'm glad that you said you're using an old interview from him to kind of weigh it out. I want you to tell us what's the most shocking thing, and without giving away anything in the book because you want people to buy it. But what was the most? What would you say was the most shocking thing you discovered about the man George Weah? Besides the obvious people who think that he holds grudges, people think that he was, and those are things that people already know. But there's a few major things in the book that people will be like, wow, like, I can't reveal it here because I'm not getting in trouble. But I'd rather people read the book and get the grasp of what it is. Like I said, I did a lot of research. But I think the relationship with Charles Taylor is, been overblown. There was an incident. I'd rather not talk about it, but there was an incident with Charles Taylor that was beyond the public, or the public knew. People I talked to who were in Taylor's camp told me some things that Taylor did for the president that really helped him. So those things are in the book. There are a lot of things that, people will come away understanding, perhaps getting a better sense of how these things play out. Like I said, when you're outside looking in, I was a big fan of George Weah playing football. And I remember the particular game we were playing, and he and Borchas were in the middle of the field, just, he was talking to the Borchas, And so I interviewed Borchas for this book. He said, one time we're playing, and he told me the story. He said, he was gesturing to me, but he was saying nothing. But the morale, it was like morale, like he was coaching his colleague. But those kind of things are the backdrop to the story that people really like, because it's the way it's written. It's the color you add to it. It's beyond imagination. It's beyond, like, it's not just a George Weah story. It's a story about Liberia. It's a story about our politics, the things that happen to us. And everything you're seeing now playing out in opposition, there's a story that Ben, you know something about, that happened in 2011 There's a backstory that's repeated itself in this election. So you say, why the book come out the election time? All of these things are lessons we learn. And yeah, they say Joey are stupid, Joey are in the book, but he outsmarted them in 2011. He announced his running mate like a year before he even ran. And there were backlash, but it died down. So now you see the so-called book people can't even find a running mate. So the book is deep. It's not just, it's not just about bashing President Weah. It's not. If that's what you're looking for, you would not be disappointed because the things are there. But these things show how Liberia has come full circle. And it's not just during the Salif era, goes back to the early parts of our history, James Roy, J.J. Roberts. This book is thoroughly researched. And similarities of the past comes back to the present. I was able to capture all of these similarities and draw the conclusion that people will be able to dissect further. And it's, like I said, it's really, really gripping. I took my time. I wanted to make sure that this was something that would stand the test of time. Whether President Weah spoke to me or not, is a book that will stand the test of time. And I'm very proud of it.
So my second question before I even ask that, and I agree with you 100%. There's something you said, and I want to re-echo it when you said that his story is the Liberian story. I've always said that there are people who believe George Weah presidency is an accident. It's not. George Weah presidency is not an accident. It's something that was supposed to happen. I often say it was a rain that had to fall, right? As you went through the investigative process, the interview process, talking to people from different spheres of his life, did you, the president he has evolved into, right? Because there are people who claim to say, well, we knew this was going to happen. We knew that George Weah presidency was going to be this way. We knew he was going to do these things. But then there's other people who he has shocked. You gave the analogy about the so-called educated people, the people who underestimated him, who saw him as he's just a footballer. He can't think politically. I tell them he outsmarted them, right? So the reason I'm asking is the people you talk to, because I'm sure you spoke with a lot of people. Was there a common thread? Was there ever a common thread in all of the interviews you did that you can point to and say, there is something here that resembles what A said, B said, C said. Can you talk about that? Was there that common thread that you found?
Yeah, definitely. This was a very difficult book to write. And the reason it was difficult is because you're in Africa. And writing about a sitting president in Africa is no easy task. It's a chapter on Winston Tubman. It covers the whole part about the 2011 election. And there's some things that he said about the process, about the campaign trail, that he says mirrors what's happening now. Yeah, and that's a very important chapter in the book. I think people will get to know more about George Weah from the eyes of Winston Tubman. That's what I tell people, and that's what they got to understand. There's so many they say in Liberia. There's so many gossips. During the campaign, they say, Joanne campaigning, Tubman was doing this. What happened on that campaign trail? I thought it was important to ask people who were there. And Winston Tubman was the standard bearer. President Weah was the vice standard bearer. So his perspective.
So you spoke with Winston Totman?
Yeah.
Okay.
I spoke with him.
Mm-hmm.
His perspective on what happened on the campaign trail, some of the issues they were having, is reflecting in what's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked what's in the book that would be a wow.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some of the things that I don't want to review everything here because of I don't give anything away, but there's so many things in the book that will make you say wow. And I really think that people will. And it's not a book that's just for Liberians. It's a book that anyone in the world, anywhere, will want to read it. I spoke to a top producer in Hollywood yesterday, and he's trying to organize an event for me in New York after DC. And he said, Rodney, I can organize, a moderate a session for you for your book. I said, sure. And he read the book. He's like, this is gripping. And I tell you this to say that there are people watching Liberia's story to see how it will play out. And I urge you on this panel to think back in Liberia's history. When has there ever been a time when someone wrote a book like this about a sitting president that's going to provoke, that's going to create suspense, tension? And it's something that why can't we do it? Why can't Nigeria do it? When we cheer when other people do other countries, why not us? So it's something that I really think needs to be done, and I've done it, and I'm proud of it, and I'm going to stand by it, every word.
Thank you very much. Rationale front page newspaper, your book promotion, the date set. We can share this with the folks, and we'll do another round. Thank you for joining us, Dr. P. Valley. But folks,
I will build hospitals, I will build roads, and there will be good and quality education. I will put lights on the poles, and there will be clean and safe drinking water for all my people.
Easy lies ahead. That wears the crown.
Master LC on the beat.
Keeping the struggle on the road.
and just to let you guys know, Spoon,
stand up.
First network. Spoon is the first network to play this. We were given the first line in making this while Brandon appear on our show. So therefore, if you want this, you have given us the go ahead. Right now, it's not on iTunes yet, right? You just share it will be going on iTunes and other outlets, right? So if you come back to the program to watch, we will play the entire music for you. Once you get on iTunes, it be restricted. We will not be able to play it.
I'll provide the music video tonight in the show tonight.
Thank you. So again, let me finish, but I'll bring you in. Let me finish one minute. So then at the end of the day, we just want to say to every one of you, please. Now, I want you guys to observe that this is complete promotion for Rodney's book because he paid for his time. This is our network and we do these things. So we are not giving Rodney any special privilege. Once you reach out, we have to serve him. If you reach the front page newspaper, you pay, he run your story. So we're doing this thing equally so. Ben, real quick before bringing Dr. Peabody and Dr.
Quick, I just wanted to thank Rodney for shout out my friend and brother Nasi, man. Nasi and I went to school together. We're classmates. So it's good that you said you are supporting Liberian artists. I thought it was hard. I mean, it was commendable effort on your part. So just kudos to you and kudos to Nasi, man. I think the song is a brilliant song. Yeah.
So thank you, Ben. Let me ask my question now. Bringing that to Richardson before we get to Dr. Peabody. What's the political downsides in this book? Because we are in a political season right now. What's your intention politically? Would this change the dynamic of where we find ourselves?
It's not my intention to do that. It's just the timing is for the publishers. They feel like that's the best time to put it out. Because the attention will be on Liberia, you discuss your book on tours and stuff. So that's their plan for the book. I just think that, um, I mean, it's not meant to derail the election. Um, the things that are in the book are depends on how you interpret it.
So
Depends
let
on
me
how
be
you.
direct. Let me be direct because I see pieces that you sent to me about this book. But let me ask you though, with this takeaway, like we say in America, with this takeaway vote from
Yeah.
President
Is
Weah,
there anything that will hurt him? Yeah.
would they hurt him politically going to the ballot box?
Listen, what you got from this book is that President Weah is who he is, and no matter what you do, those who support him will support him. Those who don't like him will not vote for him. But there are things in the book that will be, mind-boggling to people. Whether we make them change their votes, I doubt it. But I think that history will judge me, and that I put it on the record. And I think it's necessary to put on the record because that's how it's supposed to be. And it's not my intention to change anybody's vote or to decide who doesn't, but it's just a way of me telling a story that I'm very proud of. I remember one time we were playing Ghana in Liberia. I started as a sports reporter, and I was sports journalist. I used to cover football games and stuff. It was halftime. Um, I was just proud to be next to George. We are halftime walking toward the dressing room. So I follow him. I was in awe with him, and it's just that you're in love with someone as a footballer, but as president, you see some things that are happening that you think should be done differently. And you can't sit by and say, I'm not say anything. That makes you a secret. That makes you not being, fair to the country. And so I had to document some things that he may not like, but
But let me ask you, Ronnie. Sorry guys. Let me throw this in. Since you are talking about getting permission from the president, did he tell you no? Did he
he said
reply you? Did he say no to you?
he just said I asked the message was maybe about 3 or 4 lines each. So I said, "What's up? I need a favor from you." He said, What? What? WHT with the exclamation mark. I said, I want to tell you a story. I mean, He said, Well, I'm not ready to tell my story. I said, Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And then
Go ahead, sir.
and then I didn't stop there though. After I did the interviews and stuff, I contacted people close to him to just get him to talk, like I said. But then when I figured I wasn't getting anywhere, I remember that I had done interview with him before, and some of the things people were saying about him through the book, he addressed them in those interviews. So I used part of those interviews to balance whatever people were saying about him. Like the incident that happened with James Bestman, he actually addressed that issue. So I got the court records from the state of in New York, and I was able to, tell the story what happened based on what the court record said that happened that day, and balance it out with what
And
George
you got
West.
this in the book.
Yeah.
But let's go back real quick. He didn't give you no, N-O.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I am not ready. How long since he said, I am not ready? How many years?
I told you I had no intention of writing this book. 5 years ago, I met Helen Cooper in the restaurant downtown DC.
Yeah, but I beg you right now, before we come there.
No, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. This was 5 years ago.
Okay.
When I left that meeting, I was reluctant to even do the book, and I said, you know what? Let me just ask him. It was 5 years ago, the early days of the presidency, and I asked him. He said, I'm not ready. 3 years after that, I still tried to get people who were very influential. I got a lot of numbers on my phone, Stan. I got people in my phone who get the president breakfast in the morning. who, I got numbers on my phone. So I used most of the people to try to get him to talk. For 3 years, I was getting nowhere. I did try.
Okay, let's move on, Ronnie. Let's move on because it's Dr. Richardson, please.
Rodney, I'm going to go more to some personal reflection when you were writing the book. What was the hardest part of a chapter that you wrote in the book?
I would, you know, for me, the hardest part of this book was getting people to talk who didn't want to talk. Winston Tubman, for example, when I first asked him, he declined. He said, Rodney, I do my work in this country. I don't want to get in trouble. I said, but the book coming out, next year or so, maybe 2 years from now. So, and he was having a surgery too, so he was kind of reluctant to do it. And he finally agreed to do it after maybe a few months. I had to use somebody very close to him who knew him to talk before he agreed to do it. My biggest regret, I didn't get Mr. Johnson, who ran as a running mate to President Weah in 2005. I tried my best to get him to talk. I went to people who knew him, and to get to him, I sent him messages. He didn't really bother. So I had to go to people who knew him, who were in the process of selecting him as the VP. And they told me what happened during that period. So the book is not a narrative of George Weah's story. It's an in-depth um, intellectual story that digs deep into things that happen, and not just in football, but in the political sphere of Liberia. And it captures everything that that Liberians been hearing about, but they're not sure. Things that people have been speculating about, that they thought it was false, but it turns out they were true. And there were a lot of things that it was just difficult getting people to talk. And the people that were really willing to talk were people who had issues with him. To talk freely. People who had issues with him before, who saw things happening on the national team that they were not happy with, and they had loggerheads with it. And then I even tried to get Claire Weah to talk, the first lady to talk. She said no. So luckily, I found an interview she did with a Jamaican station about how she met the president. So I was able to find ways to, make the story matter. And not because people tell you no in life, it means it's the end. It's only the beginning. It all depends on how you are willing to push yourself to get it done. And I don't take no for answer. Like I said, I believe in persistency. And I tell my reporters all the time, don't be complacent. Keep pushing yourself. Keep pushing yourself. The president we see today, if he were not pushing himself, he would not be where he is today. He would not have won the world best. So why should I not push myself? Why should you not push yourself? Why should you be complacent with yourself? Why should you be mediocre? Why should you sit and relax and think that the world will come to you? Go for the world. That's all that matters to me. And I don't think that any Liberian should, deny themselves what they want in life because they're afraid, because someone says no. And this book is a testament to persistency, and I'm proud of that.
It troubles me that people do not want to talk because of repercussions, especially in today's world. I've heard that from you repeatedly. My second question to you is, what's the most fun part of writing this book for you?
I think the time I spent with Omen Kamara in the battery factory. There were some stories that he told me about the early days of George Weah that people be, giggling about. They were like, Did he go through that? Did we, And for me, I think the most important part regarding the football side for me is that as far back as 1984, this untapped, this raw talent, Coach Sitoli saw in him that he could be the next Maradona, the next Roger Miller. I mean, this old man saw, they saw it in him. And like I told Kev, even though Sitoli died during the war, I found his kids who talked to me about their father when he used to train with George Weah. So this is not a, I don't know how to put it to you, but it's not a book that is just yet to just condemn. It's a story. It reads like a movie. It reads like I love me. I love movies. I love writing. I love, so for me, it was, and honestly, I'm getting tired of Front Page Africa. It's becoming boring doing the same thing every day. I need new challenges. And this book reawakened my mind to see new things I didn't know existed. So it was a passion for me. It was, I was involved in it because it's my passion is to write, to investigate. So it's not, I didn't get one morning and say, oh, I'm going to go after President George Weah. That's not how it worked. So if you think that this is the purpose of this book, I'm sorry to disappoint you. That's not my passion. That's not, my passion is defying the odds and winning.
I hope that we'll get the opportunity for you to tell us where to find the book. That'd be really
We're going to come back in the second round. It's 5:33. Okay. Yes, let's go to another round real quick, guys. Dr. Peabody, please. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see everybody. Romney, congratulations on your new book on President Weah. I hope others have not asked this question, but my question to you is why you did not write a book for President Salif, being the first African female, to lead in Africa. But you wrote a book about George Weah. What made Weah so special to write a book?
Because during my Salif era, there were two books written about her. One was her own book, and the other was Helen Cooper's book, Madam President. So there was no need for me to do that. And I was honored that Helen asked me to write this book because she felt like, she said, Rodney, you are on the ground. You there. You should write this book. And that's how I got the idea to even write it, to even think about writing this book. It's not just,
Okay. Do you expect a reprisal, especially writing this book? Because we saw the book earlier, sometime last year, that was published by Ava Tupa and Professor Emmanuel Clark, and we saw the problem in Monrovia. I mean, it became like a big issue. People were changing their Facebook page, and that the book was against, insulting, disrespectful. Do you expect any reprisal from writing this book, and how people are going to respond to it? What do you expect?
Well, I don't like to compare myself with anybody else. I can tell you this. The book is respectful. It's objective. I managed to get everything that people want in the book, but at the same time, I have to pay respect to the country and to the people. And I cannot see myself putting things in there that would be demeaning to any woman or anybody. That's not who I am. And I'm not running from anybody to get captured at the border. I'm not going to run. I stand by everything I do. I don't hide from people. If I write something, I stand by it. I've been to prison. I've survived threats. So you have to be gutsy in life to do things like this. And I think I'm gutsy. I think I am. So I just want to be able to work in an environment where there's free speech, where I'm not bothering anybody. I'm not going to give any reason for anybody to run behind me. I'm in Liberia. It's my country. I love my country. And I want my country to be better. And We can't be better in Liberia if we all want to be politicians. I keep telling Liberians, everyone needs to find their calling and stick to that calling. If God gave you a gift, stick to that gift. Don't try to go beyond what you're supposed to be in life. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But focus on what you believe in. Focus on what you want for yourself and your country. And that's what I think I'm doing. I'm not a runner. There were opportunities for me to run away when I was going to prison. Somebody called my medical, put you in jail. Do I go hard the border? I said, I'm going nowhere. I'll go to jail, I'll go to jail. I'm not running anywhere. And there's nothing, and every word in that book I'm proud of. I'm proud of. Every word in that book I'm proud of. There's nothing to run away from anybody. I felt insulted when someone close to the president told me, okay, to copy the book before it comes out. That was my disappointment. This very person was asked repeatedly to try to get the president to talk, and they said no. So why now you want me to give you a copy of the book? I said no, I can't do it. So the people have been calling me to find out what's in the book. They've been calling friends close to me. They've been calling people who I know who know me to find out what's in the book. I don't think that should be the important thing here. What's in the book? Did he cuss to President Weah? Did he talk something bad about President Weah? The book is factual. It's a fact-based book. Research thoroughly, balanced. I just think that read it for yourself and be the judge. But I try to be as simple as I could be. I try to tell a story that people need to hear. And I think overall, Liberians will be proud of this work. This, if I'm not boasting, but one of the best things that ever happened in this country in terms of literary writing.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Listen, real quick. Let's wrap up with the second round of questions. We'll give you the time to give us date, location, how much the book costs, and other important information concerning your book. Kev Ahmed Hassan.
Rodney, I'm going back to my original comments and my thoughts, because we're from a country that do have a country that always do carry misleading information. For example, because I'm a diehard IE fan, you talk about Fernando Sitoli were brought in for George Manawia. And I believe that Sitoli was brought in as a coach for IE, for the IE team. That including Jonathan Segwe, Paul Charles, and all the IE players. Under Sitoli, he was a right winger. Butcher was the outright striker. Lone Star, he was a right wing. Butcher was the outright striker, meaning number 9. The young folks out there are going to think that what you're saying, they brought him and to coach George Manawia. And
I didn't say that. I didn't say that, Jeff.
Oh, you can make that clear. You can make that clear. Yeah, you can make that clear, because you talk about Arsene Wenger saw the same weakness that Fernando Sitoli saw. But when he went to Cameroon, he replaced Roger Miller. Matter of fact, Roger called him a black diamond of Africa. That newspaper is out there. Play number 9. He went to Monaco and he played number 9. So what he played under Fernando Sitoli was different wing that he played under Arsene Wenger. But you say he saw the same weakness on the position, all that. So what I'm saying is that I'm not saying you, but folks are giving those information. We have to fact check those information because under Arsene Wenger in Monaco, he played number 9. AC Milan, number 9. Uh, I, I, I that's my problem with the book that the person that's supposed to tell his story is the president. Other than the president or the president's wife or the president's son, the rest of them are uh, somebody who telling you a story may not be accurate. So I would love for you to leave a margin of error. I would love for you to say, well, you say unofficial. I give you that. Unofficial. That was a brilliant part that you say unofficial. That means that the story is not official. So if folks reading this story out there, I don't think it's official or it's factual from the president. So let's get that clear. Your story is when you wrote in the book, it's a guess of what people are saying, and then you put it in there and see if people will buy that. I'll leave that. But my question to you, Rodney, anybody in Liberia stop you from launching a book?
Are you done, Kev?
Yes, sir. That's my first question. If anybody in Liberia stop you from launching a book, well, anybody stop you, anything launching a book?
I never said that, Kev. I said I've been.
No, you never said that. I'm just asking you that question.
No, nobody. I just told you I've been trying to get venues, and everybody's saying no to me. It's not something that I'm making up. I know who I talked to. I know what they told me. So it's not about stopping me. I'm not saying the government stopped me from writing from holding a book event. I'm just saying the people who got the venues wouldn't let me hold the venue there. I mean the event there. So I didn't say that the government stopped me from hosting a book. I never said that. Secondly, I'm not going to sit here and tell you everything in my book. I'm just giving you snippets of what's there. I did not say Kositoli came to train George Weah. When you read the book, you understand the context from which I'm speaking. I'm just telling you, when Sitoli came to Liberia, the team he coached in Guinea were having problems. And there was a military uprising in Guinea. That's why, in fact, there's so many things that you will learn about this Sitoli that you never heard about him before. And the book is, like I said, well researched. It's not intended to hurt anybody, but I never said Sitoli was brought to train George Weah. Okay, I never said that. Sitoli was brought to coach IE. When they brought him to see George Weah playing, he saw. I don't want to give away things, but he went to see Weah practice for the first time, and he said, "Who's that? Who's that kid over there? I would take the job if you keep him on the team." So there's a thing around this story that you have to read the book first, Kev. Don't just jump the gun on the story, okay? That's not what I said.
All right, let's move on.
Okay,
you back?
Yeah, I'm back. But quick. Did you ask you ask the city hall? Did you ask the mayor?
Is that a second question, Kev? Because we gotta go.
Yeah.
It's
See,
hard
I
for
just
the
want to add it on to my first question. Did you ask the city mayor to use the city hall?
Kev. He said he didn't ask anybody. He said that.
Let's see. Let the mayor ask the question.
No, we shouldn't be specific, man. He said he didn't ask anybody. But this guy have question to ask, Kev.
They will come, but let him answer, CEO. Let him answer. You asked the city.
Kev, I had some venues in mind. I want to host the event. The venues I asked, they said no. I never said the government stopped me. I'm just telling you, the venues I'm asking, they're telling me they're afraid to get in trouble with the government, so they won't let me host there. That's what I say.
Okay.
That's
Okay. I thank you for making it clear that the government did not stop you from
I
launching.
never said that.
I agree. You never said that, but thank you
Never
for
said
making it clear. You know, we have a global society. People who want to put that out there. But thank you for making it clear that the government never. But again, let me ask you. You're writing a book on a family, the Weir family, and you having a proceed. You're having money on that. There's a Weir Foundation, Cloud Weir Foundation. Are you writing this book to gain a personal profit on this for yourself, or will you donate to the WIA or Claudia Foundation because you're writing a book on a family that you were never authorized to do that. Let's make it clear. And I want you to touch on that. You were never authorized by the Weir family to write a book on George Weir. Never authorized. So at this moment, your information completely secondary. It's not factual. You were never authorized. The proceed. Where the proceed going of a book that is never authorized by the Weir family? Never.
if I ever decide to write a book about your family, you can take me to court. The last time I checked, George Weah was the president of Liberia. He's a public figure. I can write anything I want to write about him as president. There's nothing to do about it.
Not personal. That's not true.
Nothing to do about it.
That's not wrong information.
Kev, let me answer your question, please. Do not interrupt him now. We're having a good show. Please.
There's
Just got to answer your question.
There's nothing he can do about it. And for the opt-in time, I'm not giving one penny to Claire Weir Foundation. She has money in the budget. She can take it from there and put it on her foundation. I'm not giving one penny to her.
Thank you very much, folks. We have Vernon here from the Front Page newspaper. We want to say we have to run with this time stuff because, guys, we got but only 40 minutes left. I hope you can squeeze your 2 questions and we're going to be wrapping this thing. We must take phone calls, though. It is important. I just understand that due to time, we cannot discuss. Maybe when the book is out, we'll bring running again for us to have some serious conversation. Let's go to Sentiment George. Mr. George.
Yeah, just on a sidetrack. Like a renowned librarian educator, Dr. Mariah Seaton, after listening to the music, she said, "Hope we could make it into a movie too after this book launch. Make it into a movie." She just wanted to put it out there. But I've been knowing the president for 19 years. I worked closely with him for 10 years. Okay, so this book, I'm sure I'll be someone who can validate this when the book comes up. What will be in this book? I'm sure. I started to say that there's 2 issues that came up that's always in the public space, and the president addressed this. I remember in 2005 in Worcester, Massachusetts, about this issue about the Lone Star, why they did not make it to the World Cup. And somebody asked him that question, he addressed it well. I want to know because this book captured that part of that incident because there are a lot of myths concerning that whole issue. And one of those, I'll go on record that I always defend the president when it comes to that Lone Star without going to the World Cup. But people, they interview national team players and all those involved on that issue about it. Like, bro, why we didn't qualify for the World Cup, to go for the World Cup.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, I spoke to a lot of the players who were there with George Weah was playing. A lot of the issues that came up during that time regarding whether he bought jersey for the team or who were doing what and who were doing all of those issues I addressed. The players themselves talked about it. What went on behind the scenes, even the Cup of Nations in South Africa, the issues that happened in the camp. and which contributed to the team losses. Um, all those things are addressed in the book, and those were players who played with the president when he was playing football. So Kev tries to make this like a it's not factual because I didn't get permission to talk to the president. That's not how you write books. Books are not written by permissions. They're written by investigation, by research, and by talking to people who know people. Um, so I'm not going to allow anybody to diminish my work. I know what I wrote. I know what the process I went through to write this book, and I stand by it.
Okay, and that is last question. Go all the time. Another important issue that always come up to is the issue of this incident that happened to with the president in Maryland, I think, 2010, and with his friend James Bestman. I know very well you're on top of that story because I know it happened on the eve of our CDC USA convention in Minnesota when that incident occurred, and even I mean the lawyer all for him, all that. But can you the book also capture that incident too? That issue to get the story out there, the real what really happened. To capture that story.
Yeah, I managed to get the court records from the New York court, and everything is documented in the court record. Talks about the life Westman lived before that incident happened, and it talks about things that that he was known for before it happened. So everything that happened that day is captured in the book.
Don't forget that the sit such idea recommendation for the movie.
Thank Honorable Fagon, please.
Well, thank you, Rodney, and God bless you for your contribution to our country. And let me say this. A biography is a story of another person, of a person written by another person. I repeat, a biography is a story of a person written by another person. Then you have an autobiography, a story that is written by oneself. So you are in no error. And I challenge the entire country, all heads of the university to come academically, and let's debate this. If the president wants to write his story, he will write his autobiography. But right now, this is the unofficial biography, which is a story of a person written by another person. Period. Case close. I want to thank you. We look forward to the book. We'll read the book. Thankfully, I'll be in Washington. My question to you, because of time, is that you must be a happy man. But how soon will you launch this book in Liberia? Because I myself, again, I'm greedy. After reading the book, I want to be there for the second launch and read it again. But I can't ask you any question because I don't see the book yet, Papa. So I want to read the book. Already people sweating. So me myself, I want to know what inside. The only person that knows small thing that's Stento. Because Stento started looking at a thing yesterday and provoking us. And they want to see it. They want everybody had cutting. But he can't put it in the chat room. So I cannot say much other than to thank you. You are not in error. We're challenging the entire all the academicians, theologians, philosophers, and what have you to come forward and tell us that you are in error for writing a quote-unquote biography, which is a story of a person written by another person. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Yeah, like I said, I did not set out to write this book to damage the president. I just like to tell stories. I like to, write, and I like to. He's a public figure, so I don't think I need to get permission from him to tell a story. I think that's the mistake people make. They think that you must talk to the person before you write a book about them. That's not true. Um, People write books about people every day, and there's no need for me to get permission from the president to write about him. I think that was a mistake on his part. I think even if he didn't want to talk, he would have said something about, to get a balance, a sense of balance in the book. I still did my best to balance it based on interview that they were in before. But I think it would have been good to have some closure with him, but he refused. So you can't deny me to write a book when he refused to talk. Um, the Fresh family in any country is public figures. Um, they their life is, you know, in the public domain. Whatever they do is in the public domain. I think the mistake people make is that when they become president or become first ladies or whatever, they feel that they're above the country. I think that's something that people need to take into consideration. Even with all the obstacles, people refuse to talk to me. I still managed to get this book out because, as an investigative journalist, you always keep digging, always keep researching, always go beyond the boundaries of what you want to do. And that's the only way you can succeed in life. If you give up, then you failed. You keep pushing. If every librarian keep pushing themselves beyond the boundaries of their life, it's going to be far better than it is today. But people accept mediocrity, they accept no for answer, and they forget that life is all about persistency. And if you don't want to be persistent in life, then you have no future in life. You just be your own person. And that's what I'm being. I'm being my own person.
Well, about last question. Will you write a story about a guy who tied a dog in the house song?
I might read that story.
So let's wrap things up with Chairman Ben, and then we can talk about the sale of your book. When will you be in Washington, D.C.? You can give us the rest of that story. Chairman, your question?
See what the man talking about writing the story about the toy in the house song. They just call the tea off.
And Kev, when they write a book about the dog, they're not going to donate it to your foundation either. So just so you know. But Rodney, thank you.
They will not get you faster.
thank you again. And look, I definitely think I'm interested in reading the book. We in the past, I know we've spoken just on the surface about this, but I'm looking forward to reading it. I have two particular questions. One has to do with the old man that you said you talked to. Can you say if that man is in touch with the president right now? Is the president taking care of him? Is he somebody who is still has the president's contact? Can you answer that? I mean, or is it something you don't want to do?
Omar Kamara told me that since the president took office, he had done some good deeds for him. I think he sent him to Mecca 1 year. But sometimes he goes to the house on Rehab Road and people don't allow him to see the president.
Okay.
I think he said Carrasco has been denied a few times from seeing the president. He said Boy Charles bought him a car because Omar Kamara was somebody who was, that's why I look at Kev, he doesn't understand the story. He was the one who got you to IE. He was the one who ran the club. He was the one who went to Archie Bernard and said, look, I have this little boy he can play with. And Archie said, the children, when you bring in a team, they say they can play, but then they're very rude. But if you think you can vouch for him, then give him a shot. So the book goes by all of those things. But Omar Kamara was someone who was in the center of things. He was the one who provided the platform for George Weah to succeed. He held George Weah here and said, look, talking to the coaches on airfield, practice ground. This is my son. You're putting on the team. He didn't stop there. He heard about the crisis in Guinea. He said, there's a coach there. Somebody said, there's a coach there who is available. He told Archie brought 2 tickets, a round-trip ticket for the old man and a one-way ticket for he told him to come to Liberia. And that's how
he put in the book outside now.
I'm just telling because Kev thinks I'm just writing a fairy tale, it's very engaging story. it's moving.
Mm-hmm.
It captures things that you never knew about George Weah. Some of the things George Weah didn't know himself. Some of the things he would read, he'd be shocked that he even came out. The things that this man did for him to succeed, I don't think he even knew about it.
Okay. Let me ask you 2016, 2017, and I want to know how deep you went without you again giving any information. There was a period in 2016, 2017 in the political realm where things looked bleak for the CDC, for President Weah. There was this notion that, okay, he probably was not going to be president. There was a period, where it was all Brumskin. Brumskin was the next president of Liberia. And then something happened. There is this thing out there, right? In fact, it runs deep into the conversation between the relationship with Ellen and VP Boykai and Brumskin and Cummings and all the top players within 2017. Did you get a chance to talk to President Sirleaf on this book? I know you were in touch with her. I know you have relationships with people around her. Did you talk to President Sirleaf on this book and to figure out what role she played, because she handed power over to President Weah? How deep did you go into the 2017 fries, if I may put it that way? Because there was a lot of things, and we talk a lot about 2017. So how deep did you go into 2017 when it comes to the issue of money, resources, right? How did CDC get the resources they got? How deep did you go?
I went deep, and I had a conversation with the president about the book.
Good.
But I don't know if I should be saying this. It was kind of confidential too.
Okay.
But even she was afraid to talk at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, she was afraid that to say something. So she told me. I mean, I got some color from her what she did that day of turning over to the president. But she told me, say, Rodney, a lot of what I've said is documented in speeches, in statements I made in the past. I'd rather you use those, as a backdrop, because I don't want to. She didn't say she won't get in trouble, but I could see her. She didn't want to offend the current government. So I respected that, and I did what she asked me to do.
Okay. So you went deep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And do we have a whole chapter on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, guys, if we allow Ronnie to continue talking, he will.
This is the calmest show. I think this is the calmest show we've had. I think in the last 3 months.
Okay, your book. I'm telling you, from what I'm reading and from what I'm getting, your book.
Are you open to a movie?
Excited about the book.
Let me ask you, Ronnie. Let's talk about the price of the book. How much?
It's not quite finalized yet.
Okay.
But those who attend the event will get a special edition. So the event in DC is ticketed, and you have to go to the website and download the seat you want and everything. There's executive. There's I must pay homage to Agatha Joseph and Glenda Juniors, who have been helping organize this event. In DC, they've been working very hard. So we put the prices out soon, but if you attend the events in both both DC and London, you get a special edition of the book, hard copy, glossy, professionally done, and souvenirs will also be available. There'll be music, entertainment, after party. DGG will be there. D12 perform. So it's going to be a very, very interesting evening in DC. So it's going to be heavy. I did it that way because I'm very supportive of the artists, the musicians, and the entertainers. I think we owe it to them to really help them succeed, and that's why I'm doing the proceeds of this music to Naziman, because he worked hard to put the song together, and I think he deserves to get every penny.
Let me ask you also about the proceeds of this book. Your plan. I'm not asking you whether you give it to Chloe. I'm asking you. If what we are hearing, this will be one of the biggest you will be one of the biggest. You have one of the biggest paid out in reference to this book. What's your plan with all that money?
For me, right, I always like to look at the things I do for people. And I don't like to show, I'm not to talk about stuff I do. I like for what I do to speak for itself. Um, and I don't want to talk about this, but I just think people need to know who I am. A few years ago, I was asked to be a guest speaker at Reverend Carter Brown School in Broadville. And the valedictorian for that school um, was the only survivor of Ebola. She lost every member of her family, her mother, her father, her sisters, her brothers. And from that day, I committed to helping her through school. She graduated last year as a nurse. And I don't talk about these things because I don't need to talk about it. What I do for people, I need to talk about it. But I think people need to understand that whatever I do for people is a blessing God gave me, and I bless people back. Whatever the book comes out with, it will empower me to do more quietly. I didn't the broadcasters in the world to say I'm helping people, but that's who I am. I do things quietly. I don't talk about it. So I think it's fair that I just continue to do what I'm doing to people, and hopefully one day when I'm in heaven or hell, I'll be rewarded.
So, Ronnie, location, address, time.
So the event in London will be held at the Birdcage Walk on March 11th. It's one of the where the Conservative Party hold most of their functions. I have a team in London organizing, planning. I'll be a discussion with one of the top former advisors to Theresa May, the former Prime Minister. He'll be talking about the book with me. And then in DC, we have this festive gala, a conversation about the book also, and entertainment, and people have fun. And it'll be after party, it'll be music, it'll be everything that you asked for, and you won't regret it. It's a celebration. It's a historic achievement for me as a journalist. And like I said, this is my best work since the North scandal, and I'm proud of it.
We are getting messages, and I just don't want to highlight some of them. Mr. C. Is the CDC concern legitimate that your book we have some political implication? That's where you choose to put it. Although you have answered it though, but I just want to be fair to our audience. That's why you're releasing this book within election year.
No, it's been a 5-year process, like I said. So let's put it this way: what if the president had agreed to speak to me about this book, and it's coming out election year? What would they say? No matter what you do, what you say, people always talk. And I have a philosophy that I don't let people dictate what I do in life, because if you do that, then you deprive yourself of what you want to be in life. For years, I carried the badge of a CDCian. Everybody, I think somebody said no. People said I was CDC, our partisan was CDC, because I gave a platform to them to tell their stories. Now that they're in power, I'm somewhere else. So they keep trying to define me, trying to put me in a box. They can't decide where I am. The best I can do is just be myself. Be myself. I don't worry about what people think about me, what people say about me.
Have you spoken to other opposition leaders about this book?
No.
Have you spoken to? You spoke to Madame Salib. Did you speak to JMB?
No, I didn't speak to JMB.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the opposition leaders never contributed to this book. None of them.
No. Winston
All right,
Tubman
this
did,
is
Winston Tubman did talk to me about some stuff that will be in the book about some opposition people and the chances of winning. So that might be interesting to you.
Rogers here from Front Page Newspaper. Guys, we got to go to the phone line. We understand that it is why it is. As Ben said, one of the he's a quiet show. I got people saying, Stanton, why you so quiet? Listen, when you pay for your promotion, we give you your promotion. I'm not going to go against Rodney. He's talking about his book. We have to listen. When the book come out, he will be back again that weekend after reading the book, all of it, and we can have a full discussion. But Ronnie, on behalf of the Spoon Network, the Spoon Talk team, we say thank you for extending an invite to us. We will be making our RSVP because by God's grace, we'll be in Washington, D.C. I can say Ben have a proof, Tomato and George, and the rest of the team. So by God's grace, get our table ready. I understand we'll be sleeping over because it's a long evening event. So we have a hanging out time with you. Want to say congrats, and we look forward to reading the entire book, not just the little excerpt you have sent us. Guys, let's go to the phone line. If you have any real quick 30-second, anything else you want to add? Because we must go to
Yeah,
the phone line.
I do. I do.
Yeah, run
Why,
it.
why on the phone line?
Hold on, he's saying
Run
something.
it.
Hold on 1 minute. He's saying something to somebody.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Why you
sir.
on the phone line? I want to send the video to you so you can play it. I don't know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I wanna ask Rodney. Rodney, there was a famous thing that happened to you when you went to jail, and when you came out of jail. I think it was when you came out of jail. Before the person sitting next to you was George Weah. Did you go into the book on what that conversation was like? Because at that point he was the major opposition leader, right? So it's just and the reason I'm bringing it up because it validates the point that you're making, that you've been accused of I think in every segment of your professional career of being tied to some kind of political party or political leader, right? Did you talk about that in the book? What did he say to you? How did he? Because I mean, everybody was shocked when they saw him sitting next to you that day. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah,
Real quick.
Yeah, that besides that day, I think the day before, I was in hospital
Mm-hmm.
and he came to see me, and he brought some gifts and stuff, and I gave the nurses who were taking care of me in hospital, and then he said, "Well, I'll be with you tomorrow at the parade." And then the next day he showed up. He was there. We didn't talk much, but just seeing him there, because that day I think I started crying just for the emotion that ran through me. And like I said, I don't hold malice against anybody. I just think that even Madam Salif, now we're cool, we're friends. I can call her, I can see her, but it doesn't mean we're enemies. But when she was in office, I gave her help. Tomorrow, maybe when we have no longer president, we'll be cool again. But it doesn't mean that I hate him or that I have malice against him.
Thank you, Brian. We have to go. We're running close to time. Santomani, you were saying something real quick.
Yeah. Ronnie, I just want to ask this. There's a guy who was very close to the president when he was in Boston Scarborough. Barack Kante Sila. You ever met him during the course of this book?
Which one? What's the name
Barack
of the
Kante
president?
Sila. Barack Kante Sila.
No, I didn't see that. I didn't get that person.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Ryan,
Thank you.
so we want to say we're going to take some calls. Again, we are also like this because we have to do this real quick and real fast. We run it against time. But going back to the last comment I want to make on this, going back to your approach to the president. Sure, I want to write a book about you, and he said, "I'm not ready now." Uh, do you think he was ever going to be ready? And he was going to give you the go ahead at some point. You think wasn't it too early for you to ask him about writing a book? And you talk about 5 years, he just took over. Why couldn't you wait for a few more years?
The thing about writing a book, when Helen Cooper wrote a book about Madame Salif, she didn't write it one day. She didn't interview one day. She was in Liberia about 5 or 6 times, back and forth. So it may have been 5 years ago, but if he had agreed, I could have followed him around places and get stuff from it. It didn't mean I had to interview him right there and then, but it's a process. When you're writing about somebody, you want to follow them around, see what they're doing, how they live their life. I didn't have that access to him. So it's not that I didn't, it's just a matter of fact that he didn't.
I mean, that's a good point. You answer the question, folks. Let's go to the phone line. Right, we want to say thank you, congrats again. Nelson, let's take some calls. Guys, open your cell phone, please. Take calls if you can. We'll take about 10 calls because it's 6:17, 11:17 in Liberia. Let's take some calls, please.
Okay, so the numbers to call are 07777101075, and we also have 0555101 So we'll go to the line and take the first call. Good evening, you're live. Good evening.
Call from Joseph Road.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I'd like to, every story has an entertainment aspect of it and some kind of sorrow and interest. I'd like to ask the author of the book whether there was anything of greater interest or sorrow. Besides, this is a story of permanence. Did he ever discover whether there was any political permanence, secret of any political permanence, or any secret of the footballing permanence?
Okay. Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. You're live.
My name is Rafa St. People and I do call from Survey Community.
Okay.
My question to Mr. C is, this book he's writing, let me first appreciate him for this book. You have done extremely well, but this book, Mr. C, is the book only for those who don't face cap and diamond rings, or will it come down to we the ordinary people to purchase and know what all in the book? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Philip here. From Florida City.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Philip here. Go ahead, sir. You're live. Okay, we lost him. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, sir. You're live.
Hello?
Hello, you're live. Go ahead, sir. Hello. You are live on the radio. Go ahead.
Nancy, I do have a call. If not.
Mr. Sia, this is buddy of the president. I would like for you to please do a favor. I would want you to turn your entire family over to Keith, because come the end of the election, Keith is going to be out of business and out of everything. And to Weatherspoon, you cannot expect everybody to answer you the way you want it to be. Give people a chance to answer, excuse me, the way that they should be answering the questions. And number two, first, if you want people to be truthful to you, you have to be truthful to us.
Okay.
Because US is not accurate, so please make sure you counter check. Stop jumping from 700 to 4,000 every day. Thank you. And
let's move ahead, Nelson. Yeah, let's move ahead. Take the next caller.
Thank you very much. Hello, you're live.
Nelson, let me take Mike Davis, okay?
Okay.
After that caller, go ahead. After that caller, please.
Okay,
Mike
call
Davis.
on the line. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Oh, thank you so much, CEO, and to the.
Are you going to come back to Liberia before you launch your books, or are you going to come after?
Okay, thank you. Yes, CEO, I think you can.
Thank you very much. Mike Davis, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. CEO, to the panelists and to your guests, Rodney's here. What I want to say is I want to say thank you so much for this young generation, for them to know some of the things that happen, to be in writing. As you were saying, one of the things that came to my mind was that when you talk about Coach Sitoli, and I can remember vividly, I was one of those who always was at the coconut plantation when Mr. Weah started a football career to go watch him practice. with no critics. I don't know whether it would be in the book, but when you talk of King Sitole, Coach Sitole, I know that Coach Sitole was one of the men who stand to see that Georgie, as we used to call him, to develop into the kind of sport icon he is today. So I want to say thank you, and for those who are say somehow will be critics in the book, please wait until when the book come out. Read the book. If there are anything that you see that you know is not there, you can critique the book. Because there are people who live in.
Thank you,
There are
Mike
some
Davis.
people who live in. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry because of time. We got to go.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Kev,
sir.
you got a call?
Yeah, I got a call. Go ahead, Carlos.
Yes, good evening to all of the panelists, and let me take this opportunity to congratulate Mr. Sia for putting pen to paper. There are concerns that I just want to address. By the way, my name is Abraham Conner. Just for the record, I am a Muslim, so I would like to throw light on the situation about Mr. Kamara. In Islam, there are 5 pillars that when it's fulfilled, you can rest assured that paradise is your place. 1, which is the Shahada, that is to not compare God to any other thing but the oneness of God. 2 is the Zakat. 3 is the fasting. 4 is the pilgrimage to Mecca. And then 5 is to make sure that indeed you have
Wow, it's like we
lost him.
Yeah, it's like we lost Kev. So we'll take this person. I don't know anybody on the set have a call there. Okay, so let's take. Okay, hello, you live?
Oh, I'm there. No, I'm back.
Yeah, Kev. Continue. The person still on the phone?
Yeah, go ahead, Carlos.
Yes, are you there? So basically, I just wanted to say, if for any reason, the 5-day prayer is the faith. Those are the 5 cardinal things in Islam. Now, if President, we are if President committed to that, to send Mr. Kamara to Mecca, there is nothing compared to the worldly things that people will give him. That's 1. 2, you talk about Mr.
I remember what going on with the phone, man.
Out again. Okay, go ahead.
Are you there? So,
yeah.
Just to the record, Mr. Costa arrived in Liberia. He was hosted by a hotel, and to the best of my knowledge and the record, that hotel was never questioned why they hosted Costa, especially in case of Florida. So let's get the record straight here. Mr. Rodney Sia did not officially apply to and got officially rejected. He said it was just a verbal conversation, people were afraid. So please put it on the record, apply to some of these places, and let it be rejected in the case of ANC, when they applied for the stadium, and the whole Hulu came out, and everybody knew what the problem was. So it's important for us to put things in a proper perspective, please. Thank you for the time.
Okay, so I think we can take this person. Hello, you live?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Joseph Kiko. I'm very much delighted to hear about Ronnie Singh writing a book on the president. Yeah, the only question I have was whether he recorded the situation that occurred on November 11 on the city party headquarters. I really want to know whether he recorded that too.
Thank you very much. Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Tonight I'm able to get on the show. Yeah, my problem here is why Spoon have left the topic last night and just joined in book business. We wanted to listen to what's happening in this country. Then you can't talk about book with all the kind of things that are happening in the country here.
Thank you very much.
Now why you can get on the show for? He said if you try
right?
So then he got blocked.
Yeah, mommy, it's not from Panave.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my man, book is very important. I'm discussing how you can't leave.
Okay, thank you.
Listen
Go ahead. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
That's your content.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
man.
thank you so much. The name is Prince Mtua from Bannersville, representative hopeful for district number 11, camp 2023 in Montserrat County.
Okay.
Let me say good evening to CEO and the rest of the panelists. For me, I always follow Spoon Talk, but I think this is my very first time to call on the show. Yeah, and my only concern and my only question to Ronnie C, you know, people have reasons for for doing things. So the only concern is, according to him, he reached out to the president and he wanted some information from the president, and the president could not open up to him to give him the information that he wanted. So my question is, don't you think, the information that you wanted in this book, for the fact that the president refused or did not open up to you, it means that the book is incomplete? Would you agree that the information in the book is incomplete?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Hello? Good evening. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
This is John Mambo, members of the Economic Freedom Party of Liberia. Thank you very much, Mr. C. You see, I remember one councillor Prabhu who said, if you want to have anything for a Liberian man, just put it in a book. So I don't think what you wrote in that book should only remain in that book. I think it should be dramatized. I think it should be taught in schools so that people can really know the life and legacy of this president. Thank you very much. I highly appreciate you.
Thank you, John. Hello? Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Go ahead.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Yeah, go ahead. You're live.
Okay, this is Abenigo Niti. I do join from Sophie community.
Okay.
Let me say good evening to you, and good evening to the panelists, and good evening to your studio guest. And I want to say your studio guest demonstrated very well for writing the biography of the president. But my concern has to do with what are the book that he has written. It contains some photos, because most of the books that are written, it just contains spring notes, and you can see the photos. And secondly, how many pages does it book contain? Whether it's 500 or 1,000?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Livingstone Jimmy Black, Chairman of Governmental View, Johnsonville District 2. I want to say thank you to Mr. Renessier, but my only problem with this book, I think that if the president has consented to give his own side of the story, this book was going to be very, very much completed, and we were going to enjoy it. But I think short story is asking, because to me, our own view, his own story from his own mouth is a portion of this book. But whatever the case, what is inside, we will go and read it and see. And my next appeal to Mr. C is the book will be launched. It will be launched in Washington, D.C. But I hope that coming back to Liberia, you will be able to look at the masses down here so that the price will be affordable for our people, so we can read what is in the book. Maybe in the next future, we'll come up with two of the books. We'll highly appreciate it. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution. Hello? Hello? Hello, are you there? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. You're live.
I'm Charles McCoy from Peaceville. Okay, let me say thanks to Big Brother Roddy. They both in texting. But I want to know whether he include the lecture of the president about his father, and whether he include whether the president took part in the war. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Nelson. We want to say thanks. We just appreciate the calls. To all the callers, let's try to wrap this up. Right now, I'm trying to open it. It's not opening. I texted you. I don't know why. So, guys, while we wrap this thing up, and we're trying to play the video that comes along with the song. So we hope we can have it open for today. Yeah, it's not opening. See, I can squeeze one call.
Yeah, it's coming as private right now. If you can see it.
I can squeeze one call.
You want to squeeze one call? Go ahead while we work on this video.
Don't squeeze the call.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Okay, good afternoon to all, or good evening. This is my first time calling on your show, and I was calling to ask Rodney. You were talking about Archibald, but I was talking to Mr. Kamara. But did you ask Mr. Kamara from the late Saint Bernard days? Because not just Tony. And when the president came to play,
You guys can hear it.
Mm-hmm. But who's that? The name? Who's it?
You call your name, caller.
My name is Louisa Morris. I was trying to get Mr. Same facts, right? When the president came that time, when he came to play for IE, it was Kai Jebel that will play number 7. Did you ask Mr. Kamara to tell you about the late St. Bernard story before you jumped to Archibald? Because you said the president was running around some house. Did you get all your facts right? Because I know that facts he says is not right. Because I know him from the age of 14 years old. So sometimes when you're coming out to give people's story, you should ask the right people. Did you speak to Joe Noway? Did you speak to Robert Clark? Or you just went around the new players that like simply then I said negative thing about him? Not everything in life we should say negative things about people. For once, we should be able to go to the right people to know the right story.
We can't hear anything.
We're not hearing the person.
I know the person from Beaumont before he even came to Safari, before he came to Barrow, before talking from Barrow to Ali. Did you ask people like us if you really want to say the truth about your book? Or you just wake up and ask those that will tell you negative things about the president? We should try to look in life and look at it in the good way. Mr. C.A., your book can sell, you can do everything. The president will win and you always be the president that he
What's up? I reckon I put together. How you make it effective, man? What's that? Yeah, nice. We're finished with the calls now, right?
Just go ahead.
I think we're done. We want to say thanks to all of you running. Thank you for appearing. You can answer some of those questions and reply to some while we wrap this thing up tonight. It's good to have you, my brother.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. I respect everybody's opinion, and I wasn't narrating the whole book on this show. I was just giving snippets of what's. So the last caller may have just started talking without even reading the book. Everything she's talking about is well documented in the book. If you read, she will find out everything that's happening. I just gave snippets of what's inside, not the whole thing. I can't do that on the show. So I think she was way off base in doing that. The book will be available in Liberia eventually after we launch. It's available on Amazon, on Barnes and Nobles, on Kindle, everywhere it's going to be available. So I think it's something that we all should be proud of. And I did my best to make sure it's objective. Someone asked about the support for the war. In my interview with the president in 2005, he did address that issue, and that's covered in the book. I try to be as balanced as possible. So that's pretty much what the story is.
Again, we hope we can have this video. I think it's a beautiful video. It's not opening for me to share.
I just texted you, sir. Try that. It should open.
Okay, you guys have anything while we show this video, because we really have to.
I just want to say I think people should take a chill pill, and I really think they should. get a chance to read the book. And I'm sure there will be a variance of opinions about this book. There are going to be people who will love it. There's going to be people who will not like it. And I think that is the essence of an unauthorized biography: is to go out there. So I think a lot of people just need to take a chill pill and read the book. I listen. You'd never know what the book may even do. It may see President Weah in a whole different light. People may see him in a whole different light. But this attitude of everybody. I mean, and like Rodney just said, he's giving snippets. That's what you do when you're on a pre-book tour. Like when you're promoting the advance of a book coming out, you don't tell the whole story. But for
Present
some,
the teasers.
yeah, it's like exactly that's the word, teaser, right? For some reason, it's like a movie is about to come out. You watch the trailer and then you immediately decide that, oh, this movie is just no, it's giving you a preview, a snippet of what the book is. But I think overall, let's wait to read the book, and you never know. You never know. One thing you said, Rodney, that I agree with is that it will give people it should serve as a because whether you like George Weah or not, he does have an inspiring story. If you don't, if you can't see that, then I don't know what somebody who was born and grew up in Gibraltar ultimately become president of the country. What he does after that's another debate. But just that period alone. So I think overall, I think let's just give the book a chance.
But I would say this. I would take this just from you, Chairman. There's a reason why this book is coming out in the election year. Running up my man. Whether opposition or imposition, I would be afraid, but I would want to buy the book. This book is explosive. Like sometimes you guys jam him on the show, he really want to say something, but if I go in the back, tell him, my man, don't tell the whole story. The book is explosive. This is about George Manuel Weah, from nobody to somebody, from Gibraltar all the way to the executive mansion. Ronnie just said the incident in New York with his friend. He called him names. Listen, the ghost is about to get out of the grave. And you are right, Chairman. Some part of the book is good. Speak well of the president. Not only the president, folks around the president as well. So the book to me is explosive. The book will take us to the election. People will talk about the book. And that's why I asked Ryan whether it would change the mindset of Liberians. But when the book is out, I was asked the question again. I just encourage my sedition friends, as here wait patiently to get the book, to read the book, to go through the book. In America, what folks may do, what Republicans usually do to Bob Woodrow, they will unleash the propagandists. And too many of you know that. Whenever Bob Woodrow says he's coming out with a book, the guy's not ready. And I think Ronnie will fall in that category of Bob Woodrow. And so the sedition should get ready for a counterattack. I'm not giving them a bad advice, but it will have to answer some of the questions from the book that folks may have.
But see you. Let me come in. No. Let me come in. Rodney, beside you, Rodney do have a lot of angels on the show. I don't know, but at this moment, let's look at it this way. Bob Woodward, right? He spoke to the people, the actual people. Matter of fact, Bob had a tape, the voices of people that he spoke to. So no way you can say nothing. The book on Trump, we all heard Trump saying and stuff there. But if you write a book, and the only person who is missing in that book is the person himself, let's face it, man. It's a secondary information. Because some of us sitting on this platform, some of us, including my own brother for over 40 years, Mr. Fagon, people have said a lot of stuff. I remember.
So careful your age. Hey, oh.
Of course, I'm a 70 born, 70. Yeah, I'm born in the 70s, so I'm not a child. Listen, Tommy. I remember calling him and said, "Look, people are saying stuff about you. They call him a killer. Matter of fact, they say he was on the scene of a murder, and I wake him up and said, Fagon, the people saying something. Fagon said to me, that's Liberia for you. He said to me, he said, that's Liberia for you. People went on Facebook, type in Fagon name and say, Costa will die. And I told him that. He said, my man, leave that thing. I don't care. I don't care. But I knew that's not Fagon. I'm saying all the people, I see people saying this. Oh, Fagon said that. He was even interviewed by the BBC on that matter. Why am I saying this? We do in Liberia have a history.
Add the $20,000 and the $25,000 check too now, so the story can be found.
Oh, that's true.
That's true. What do people say about you? Finish your good.
People say, yeah. People say 25. Yeah, people say that. You understand? People put me in over $250,000 a year of money. To me, who we know it will be a money laundry here.
I mean, make it 1 or 2 years.
But people, yeah, but people believe that. People believe that.
But
so when you're talking about story, because we all are victims of lies. So when you talk about story from second-hand people, a country like Liberia, I do have a problem with that. Because people, right?
We kept the book.
I do have a problem. Yeah,
but not everybody will be happy with the book.
So yeah, see the book. So
not everybody will be happy with the book.
We are not talking about happiness. We are talking about.
All right, guys, let's get running the chance to wrap up. Let's get running the chance to wrap up because he has to go.
Yes, in that book. That's what I'm talking. The only person missing is the president.
Kev.
No, he's not missing.
Listen, guys. The two brothers from Birmingham. Hold on, the two brothers from Birmingham. Hold on, please. Kev.
But see, let me say the last one. Let me say the last one.
Real fast, yeah.
I
can confirm.
I will build hospitals. I will build roads.
I can confirm this to you, right? That the president at this moment will not speak on the history until he's ready to speak. I can confirm to you that.
Kev, you don't need to confirm. We know that. You don't need to confirm.
I said, Kev,
so let's do something, guys. We gotta go.
You government spokesman. I can confirm to you.
All right. Hold on 1 minute, guys. Fagon, hold on, please.
Fagon, believe me.
Fagon, hold on 1 minute. Let me just say this though, Kev. Look at the title of the book.
Yep.
Please. Let's just go back to the book title. This is an unofficial biography. Kev. It says
feelings.
It's not autobiographic, Kev. So it's okay. That's the book title. Let's move on, guys. Ronald, let's play this thing, and then let's play the James. Can you play it if you have it, please? Do we have it? No, it's not downloading, right? Yeah, play it from your cell phone. You want to do that?
Try the last one. Try the last one.
You send me something?
Yeah, the last one should be good.
Okay. Oh yeah, I think let me send it to James. James, play this one. It's better. But you got anything else to add?
James,
you got anything else to add while we download it, Ronnie?
Like I said, I'm not running for beauty passion. I'm a journalist and I write. Every Liberian has a talent and a gift. They need to use that gift to the best of their abilities. I've used my gift to the best of my ability, and this is what I'm coming up with. Um, I have no remorse. Um, I have nothing against anybody. I just think that um, this book needed to be told. And I was happy that I was.
I'm sorry, Rodney. James is playing. You can download it. The last one I sent you, I had to do it because he's not answering. Go
See, you're a reggae star now. You're a reggae star now.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's important that we all allow the space for discourse. Um, a few weeks ago, when the president did some good things, and we said we are schools, they said we are giving money, but it's not about what happens today; it's what happened consistently, and people need to understand that um, there's only one way to go but up, and we have to fight to be what we want to be in life. This is my calling, and this is what I want to be.
Well, oh, I'm still not back. Okay. Somebody muted.
You guys should go ahead. I'm trying to get this video to play.
Oh, yes. I
Okay,
mean,
so can I
like we
come?
said, Rodney, again, congratulate you on this book. And people always wonder this great guy, this great man. Joshua is a great man. Take it or leave it. He's in his book of history. He will go down the book of history as one of the greatest soccer player who ever played the game of soccer. And for the fact that he's president today, he'll also he'll go down in history as the Liberia 24th president. So his history is will always students people that will be born tomorrow will read about him. So and the fact that a book was written about him, and Rodney interviewed people that were the president today, around him today, who support him, who works with him, and people that are not in the government. So he didn't just come and interview certain people that somebody I saw already say one of the people that hate president we had. That's not true. This man's a professional journalist. He shouldn't insult him. He's an investigative journalist. I mean, he's been around for time, and he want to respect the journalists in Africa, in the world. People respect him, man. I mean, so he's a award-winning international journalist. People should not come and disparage him or so. And I think
Please.
he wrote his book with no any malice or nothing. So let us wait for the book launch and get the gist of the book instead of just casting aspersions on him and trying to denigrate him.
Let me just add something. You see, look, one of the greatest problems we face in our country, and especially, particularly, the CDC, is this idea of a high level of ignorance, sycophancy, and fanaticism. Everybody heard Rodney when Rodney said one of the hotels the hotel that Costa went to, when he left, the post said they had some problem. People started talking all kinds of things to them. The same Rodney was here when I asked him, have you tried putting these people on record by writing them? Rodney responded that I will do so when I get back. I will write just to put them on the record. When asked about Omar Kamara, Rodney said the president has done so much for Omar Kamara. And just to name one or two, and then Rodney talked about the Hajj to Mecca. The other gentleman came, he said, oh, anything happened to the hotel, what cost our in? If you're not following the show, don't create problem. One of the greatest things, I'm a Muslim, and the greatest thing John I could have done for the man was send him to Mecca. Rodney did not say it was just the greatest or not the greatest. He said there were many things he did for the old man. The other lady came on. Rodney cannot name everybody in the book. Rodney cannot sit here and tell the whole book. And you just come and talking in a condescending manner to the man. Let me say this to seditions. Now you got the emperor naked today. The emperor. You ought to want to have clothes on him and say he's still wearing clothes. Because some of the things people do, I'll be candid with you. is not sanctioned by George Weah. George Weah does not say, go to the one on my behalf. It is a high level of ignorance. It's a book. How many pages that somebody will sit here in 1 hour, 30 minutes and read the whole book to you? Can't you read it or wait for your time? And if you didn't follow the show, you know, and I will say this to Abraham Cannon, we know you. You are Kalasco's uncle. Don't come here and be pretending. All of y'all will be receiving these calls and trying to put down people here. But those kinds of attitude will be met with stiff resistance. And every time you do it, it will be costly politically to the president. Very costly. Because we expose the high level of ignorance with the people around him. And I say it, and I stand by what I say. There was no need for the attack on Rodney tonight. It's 421 pages of more. He cannot tell you the whole story here. And he cannot give you every name. And everything he said here is just
Chairman, I change.
They call it snippets. So he can't do it all. Don't come and beat him down. Read the book before you talk. That's why I said I will wait for the book. I'll read a book.
Rodney, for 2 years ago, was already attacking you like a wildfire on the book.
No way, Kev, I'm a reader. I
know you know that. I know you know that. That's why you're smiling and forgot.
No way. How did I attack Asif for Tupac?
Get issue, eh?
He said about 2 years ago.
I know we
attacked.
Rodney, what an excellent job. What an excellent job.
We're not paying
I
attention to
want
what
to once again
But I gave Dr. Richards a chance to speak now, please.
Rodney, I want to once again congratulate you for such an excellent job as somebody who loves books. You know, I collect actually Liberian books because I think there's a shortage of them. There's a scarcity of Liberian books for the reasons that you mentioned. Nobody wants to write because of fear, because of repercussion, or providing information. And I think we have a vacuum in our society of information. We have such great historical figures and great knowledge that is banked in our country. But because a lot of people just don't take the time that you have taken, you said it took you almost 4 years to really get the book together. That's commendable. I respect that. And yes, when you write, and if anybody who write and read a lot, you know that there's a part that is called critical thinking, and it's up to you. You put out that information to the world, and the world is then responsible for saying, you know, this is likely true because of these themes that I'm seeing in the book, and this is likely untrue because, you know, there's no other evidence to support it. Or at this point, I don't see how it's been supported. And once you do that, it's up to you as the reader to make your own decision. You just did your job. You did a great job at doing it. This is something you have experience in doing. So I want to thank you, and I wish you the best of luck in your luncheon. I'm sure I'm going to be invited. Thank you.
What do you mean you're going to be invited? He have invited us all. We're making RSVP.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. So Ryan, we're sharing this thing. It's kind of still difficult to download the video. The video is beautiful. I sent it in our chat room. You guys have access just to link it up with StreamYard. It giving us problem. Giving us serious problem. But the RSVP for Ryan, can you give us the location again and the date for the Washington event, please?
Okay, so it's if you go to the realrodneyca.com, you see all the information about tickets. It's going to be at a place called the Gathering Spot in DC. Everything is on the website. Just check it out. You can get tickets from there also for the event. The one in London is a pre-invite invitation. The seats are almost filled up, so you got to get your tickets soon. The one in DC is selling out quickly too also, so it's limited seats available. So I encourage everybody just get a ticket and show up there, and we'll be there.
The one in Washington is out. The date. For those in the radio land.
April 1st, 2023. and the one in London is March 11, 2023.
The one in Washington, I cannot take the guys to London. I will end up. They're gonna be hard for me, Rodney.
Yeah, don't worry.
Ben gonna go crazy. Somebody will not get home on time. So we'll do the Washington D.C. But the one in Washington D.C. How much folks asking for the ticket?
The prices on the website, they have executive
Hey, Jam, hold on 1 minute, Jam, hold on 1 minute, please. 1 minute. Go ahead, Rodney. Finish your thought, please.
Yeah, they got executive tickets.
Oh boy.
That is why he had to let his talent. That is why from Gibraltar to the seats of the presidency every day.
Okay. All right, James. Thank you for trying. We will do it next time. Rodney, can you finish up? You were saying something.
Yeah, so the event in DC is going to be held at a place called the Gathering Spot. It's going to be, we have the whole place for the whole night. So it's going to be, the tickets are selling off fast. So the executive for sponsors, there's regular prices, there's semi-executive. So just click on the website, therealrodneyca.com. Tickets are there.
So the executive, right? You got to tell us something now because we got to start charging this guy.
The executive, like the Sport TV people are all executives, so there will be,
Man, I want to say congrats, man. Beautiful book, and I understand folks will enjoy reading it. I have a lot of information about President George Manawia. It says some good, some bad, some so-so. So to each his own. We're gonna read it. We're gonna enjoy it, and we're gonna grace the occasion. The guys just can't wait.
And in writing is very difficult to write, and it takes time, it takes precision, and the writer is writing from his perspective on how he want to tell the story. For example, you can interview 10 persons, but not all of 10 of them you can put in the book. You maybe put about 5 of them that you think that the story much more easy to comprehend, whatever, but it takes a lot of work and energy to write. It's a process that takes training. It takes a lot of doing things over and over. So I wouldn't be able to please everybody. That's okay. I can live with that. It's not my intention to please everybody. But I just think it's something that we need to all process when it comes out. And some people like it, some people don't like it, but that's how it is. That's what writing is all about. And that's the process of writing. And that's the process, is to provoke, is to engage, is to make people, interpret it when they want to interpret it. And I think we need that in Liberia. There's no book about the great, people in Liberia. There's so many books. You can even count maybe 10 fingers in your hand to see how many books about our people in Liberia. So it's a good process that we should embrace, and wait until you read it before you start coming down my throat.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Have a good night. It's after 12 a.m. in the country. I'm hungry. I'm tired. Benjamin said we have changed already. You understand that he's going out. I don't know where he's going, but somebody get some feedback. Kev, can you mute? Benjamin Sammy is going out. I don't know where he's going, but he's going to the African store where the spirit Kev. Yes, my son Kev. Yes, my son Kev. Go ahead.
Rodney.
See you.
No, we're coming to start a show.
I know, right? I gotta go, man.
Quick, Rodney. There was a story about the president on awarding him the Entourage Award a couple of years ago in America. There was a story there that the Americans went and dug behind the president. That story in that book?
You know how when I say I got you, huh? That's why I said wait for the book to come out.
Exactly.
The story is in the book, Kev.
The actual what story in the book?
Yes, it's in the book.
And Liu kept that the only story should be in the book. And Liu,
So that's the reason why you would buy the book.
It's not in our book. Yeah, myself, I don't run it. That's one of the we have big women. So
See, that's why I tell you guys.
In fact, that story people
One of the biggest
believe that
moments,
story
we have
was
problem.
what propelled it.
That's why I said the thing got the good, the bad, and the so-so.
Yeah,
I just wait for the book.
Whether people like it or not, anyone who has had the journey and the ride that George Weah has had, he has his detractors, he has his enemies, he has his diehard supporters, and I think it's a story that needs to be told. So, and that's why I commend.
Rodney, I'm gonna beg you. I know we all of time. I know we gotta go, but let's squeeze this one in, Rodney. A little bit politics, real quick, please. Just in 30 seconds, what's going on? Give us an overview of what you hear and what you know about the election, real quick.
The election is going to be very difficult for everybody. You have the incumbent that's wounded. You have the opposition in disarray. It's going to be a very difficult election to call. I know people think it's over. It's not over. Everybody is making mistakes. Everybody making mistakes. Everybody making mistakes. Communist people making mistakes. Worker people making mistakes. The Weah people making mistakes. So there are a lot of silent voters out there that are just looking from behind the scenes, just saying, what's going to happen? Voila. And they will determine the election. So
thank you. Real quick, I know we'll have you again. The gun issue. I'm a nation in the country. What's your take?
I know the Americans, the information I got this morning is that the Americans tip it off. As usual, they always get this information and share with intelligence agencies.
100%.
And they tip it off. Yeah, they tip it off. So it may be like something that someone individually did by themselves and got busted. It's not the first time though. There's been people breaking down from the country on containers.
True.
It's not the first time. So people are just brave. They think they can just get away with stuff. And that's what they do. And I think, it may be something that just happened, but at the same time, the country
we listened to this story before, Rodney. I got two more questions. One, we listened to this before. The 100 million cooking bars. It went dead, quiet. Is this going dead? Would this be quiet?
The thing about the justice system is that I know the case is still in court. We've been reporting about the trial on the drug bust. The problem is the prosecuting attorneys, they're sometimes slow to act, to move. And the girl who was arrested, I understand she calls some names, and those are the names they go by. They're trying to arrest the people. And so how far that would go in this investigation would be determined by how deeply the prosecutor's office willing to go to dig this thing out.
My last and final question for the show, Western Cluster, man. It just came back since 2011. Now we heard today on the clip, the HR said $350 million Western Cluster have given the government of Liberia, the people of Liberia. Instead of 100 million, he said 350. And he also said 38 Ghanaians, foreign national, okay, are those that are working permanently with the company. There is no one Liberian that have, with the exception of the management team, there's no one Liberian that have a permanent working status with the company. Everybody that they bought.
It's not only that.
Of this story.
It's not only that, Stan. It's the road condition in that area. The road is already in a bad shape, and they using the big trucks in that road to damage the road. That's the major concern. Why could they use some of that money to fix the road? A big company like that. Then you have the Blue Lake, where people, if you go to if you leave outside Monrovia, right? The only place I've been there several times. The only place those kids can play is that Blue Lake. That's the entertainment spot in Bombay. If you close that to them and you want to start digging what you didn't put there, you damaging people's lives.
When you been on the story, why the 350 million? Why people are not reporting this thing? Why the people bombing Bapolu, Kipma? They have not received a dime. But this HR saying this company said they have spent, given to Liberia, 350 million United States dollars. Edwin Snow came on the show and said 100 million though. But this guy's saying he's the HR, Mr. Brown. Today they had a program, his phone cover. The people are extremely mad. But I just wanted to get a tease from you. We got to go, Ronnie. Maybe we can have this conversation next time, but it's horrible. Monday, we have Sandro Johnson as our guest on Monday, and we'll discuss it. Go ahead.
But you know, Stan, people take things for granted in this country. And this issue is in the book, it's covered in the book. On April 12, 1980, they killed and slaughtered 13 people in the poll for corruption. And this corruption was based on perception of corruption. They were tried by a kangaroo court. They had no evidence whatsoever how they stole the money, where they stole the money at. When Doe was killed, they cut his ear off. They asked him, where did you keep your money? Doe said, I got money. But they killed him based on perception by Prince Johnson that they had money somewhere. They killed Samuel Doe. Today, and I get in trouble for saying this again, the things that is happening now in Liberia, if there was an execution, huh? These are things that we see in our own album. I'm sorry, but this is the reality. This is how you gauge, contrast things that happen in your country. Things that you killed Toba for, you killed Richard Hendricks for, you killed all those people. Tessa Dennis. You killed them in the poor for corruption. And you're doing 100 times more. 100 times more. And how do we live with ourselves in this country? When we kill one group of people and say, you know, my papa cool man. But this hatred for Congo people, like, oh, because you're from that area, this, the legislature we have now. Name me one Congo person inside. Name me one Congo person legislature there. You had a bombing crisis, the Western Closer crisis. Nobody's talking about it. Yep. And they're all from the counties. If they can't cry for the bereaved, who are we to cry for them? The mindset is ethnic Congo for this country. It's in our brains. It's killing this country. It's killing this country. And how can we not as a people be passionate about what we think about? $350 million lost, no one how it was spent. If there was a repeat of April 12th in this country, they're not taking people down.
Thank you very much.
Trust you will die.
Kev, we are hearing information. Mute yourself.
Okay, say talking with the president.
Oh gosh.
That recording came in live.
Right now, I want to say thank you. James, can you delete what Kev said? Delete it, James, please. Running. I'm sorry, man. Running with the. Man, stop, man. Pardon. Stop. Leave the man alone.
What did he say? What did Kev say?
Quick.
Running. We want to say, don't listen. Well, leave your Bobby brother alone. We want to say thank you very much for a wonderful program. And have a good evening.
Too much.
Have a good evening, Running. Bye-bye.
They call it hot mark.
Yeah, that's what I feel hard by. I'm Ben, you're treating your picking good. I feel hard by man went on just now. You know, oh boy, we gotta go, man. We gotta go. Kev, you eating
Well, I'm putting it on this over there.
No, Kev on food. You know how you're eating. Not eating. You just put a food in my journal.
But why are you careful?
No, Razi. The man on the show saying running is not authorized.
Yeah, you know you on live, right?
He live. He eating. He live. You know.
So you use that eating now to say that while you're on, boy. You're
diversion there. Tommy, you need to graduate from this kind of thing, man. I said it on the show. It's not authorized. I said nothing that I didn't say on the show, man. Graduate from that. I said on the show. It's not authorized. What's wrong with that? You know, I'm
And that's 2 hour closing so we can go.
Yeah.
All right. I know Monday will be a crazy day for the Spoon Talk because we'll be having Sandra Johnson. It will be rough. That Western Cluster thing is coming up. Listen, every agreement the folks signed 2011, the MOU attachment to that agreement, they have broken all the rules. It's like no rules and regulation, Chairman. I think I just sent you the email.
No, I've been reading up on it. Look, I get tired with it, man.
Listen, folks, I want to say this to you, though. We are not picking on anybody, but no rules and regulation when it comes to Western Cluster. They will mess the road up. They will give the money to who they want to give it to. The people will get sick, environmental problem, everything. Bombing is dumb. No
That's
rules
what you think.
and regulation.
Wait for our
And
case.
I hope the folks from Bombing, I hope they can stand up. Like I admire them today. Let's show you some pictures before you leave. And we're saving all this for Monday.
My people, let me say to you, I know our expectation is very high. Even say that the expectation is high. I've been working, but the other work I do is different. But I can't be inside and tell you that I'm looking. But it's good. It's good. So what we need to do is to work as a team. Let's minimize our expectation. Holiday and let me continue. I said 370 million have been spent in this country by the Western Cluster, right? You remember that?
Yeah, that's the HR. The HR said 350 million is spent.
The man that Snow told you to talk to, Mr. Brown, I hear that.
Let's see how many workers he said Western Cluster have employed. I know we got to go, right, Chairman? Just the last video.
Let somebody tell me whether NSC gave off $500 or $5,000 and said they want for development. Maybe we need to know. Let's make a research on it. I'm not saying that they not do it. So you can't put me wrong. I'm not saying that they not do it. I believe that company spent 25 years here, 25 years plus. But let's look at their development drive for Bobby, Now, this company just come in 5 months, they have employed almost 250 persons. Just in 5 months. Up to now, Western Cluster has not taken one iron ore from Liberia, any part of the world. Listen to me. I want you to learn something.
And you know why I enjoy all this? That is a Western Cluster HR. You know why I enjoy all this? When they follow up with a question, he said, but they didn't start yet. They're on probation. So let me say this. I'm going to share all this video, but you guys watch it this morning. I think the HR is between a rock and a hard place. We'll set the show up for Monday. We're going to have the former senator of Bumming, Sando Dazo Johnson. He will be our guest. And we'll talk about the issue. This thing is bad. And I hope this will be a wake-up call for some of our lawmakers. Yes, I had a wonderful time, man. It was great having Ron and CA. Say your piece. I'm out. God bless you. See you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Direction, take it easy, though. Be safe.
Thank you.
All right, folks. We want to say thanks a lot to all of you out there for following the program tonight, Spoon Talk. Thanks to those of you who called in, making your contributions. For those of you listening to the radio, Spoon 107.5 FM, Fabric 101.1 FM, or maybe Super 95.5 FM. Thanks a lot for following. On the social media platforms, Spoon TV Live, Fabric TV Live, Super TV Live,